Welcome, one and all, to what's obviously going to be something of a different show here tonight. Hopefully, you're all with us, and hopefully you're ready for a bit of a different show tonight, because we did tease this on YouTube and TikTok last night, and in our Patreon Discord as well, that we're going to do something. Obviously, the episode is called "Thank You, Ozzy," and this is going to be just us sort of going back and remembering, obviously with the news that's passed or come about over the last couple of days of Ozzy passing away. We figured we put the normal show on hold and sort of spend a night just sort of saying thank you in our own little way, and paying homage, and going through some memories, thoughts, feelings, whatever else we have going on, and hopefully get a few of you involved as well. So to that end, if you're in our Discord, I'm going to put a link for this whole thing. If you want to get involved and you want to chat to us in your own way, be it voice or video or whatever else have you, then you can do so if you choose to do so. There we go. There's a link in Discord just now. So have at it, people, if you choose. No stress, no pressure, just something we would like to see happen if people want to jump in. We have Michael here already saying, good evening, guys. Good to see you, as always, Michael. And just in case you didn't know, I'm Andrew. I've been joined this time around by Jeff, as usual. And for the first time in a little while, we have Conrad here as well, which is rather fitting considering the circumstances around that in a moment, which we'll get to, I'm sure, in all good course. Other Michaels here. Of course, the two Michaels are here first. Who wouldn't be here first? It wouldn't be the same if it wasn't those two guys. And also, just on everyone, just for everyone's benefit, Jody says hello as always as well. Got to keep the traditions going there.
Hey, Jody.
In that regard. She's chiming in the background saying hi, guys. I don't know if it comes through on my microphone with it being in the opposite direction, but we'll see how we go. Darren's here as well saying, evening all. Never got to see the great man Ozzy live. I'm grateful I did a number of years ago now, but I'm grateful that I didn't. And Conrad went to the back to the beginning show 17 days ago, I think we worked it out, or whatever it was now.
Well, it's 19 days now, but it was 17 from when he passed.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Michael's saying hi, Jody, as well. Kat saying, yo, dude. So there you go. You're getting some love in the comments too, babe.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, this is going to be, like I said, a bit of a loose show tonight. No real structure, no real format. Just sort of see where things take us. And obviously, this is all to do with the late, great Ozzy Osbourne. So I might, and Jolie's here saying hi, all, and Jolie as well over in Discord. But just want to say, I might throw to you guys first. I might throw to Jeff first in this context, because whilst I'm a big fan, I'll defer to my seniors who have had this person as a soundtrack to their life for a lot longer than I have. So, Jeff, over to you. What are you thinking at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's obviously, it's a very sad, occasion. Actually, I was in bed. I woke up and I looked at my phone, and I actually saw messages from you guys. It was you guys from the Hard Rock Show in the Discord, and I went, "What's here? What's going on here?" And I looked at it, and I'm like, "Oh no," like my heart just sank. Like I'll remember where I was at that moment. I've been listening to Ozzy since probably. How old are you now, Andrew?
I'm 44 now. Yeah,
I've been listening to Ozzy longer than you've been alive. So, yes, I'm an old guy, and so, not by much. I mean, just by a year or so, but still, it's one of those things. I think Andrew's frozen. He did say it was cold up there. But Andrew, you're taking this to an extreme.
I don't think it gets that cold in Queensland somehow.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So look, as it is, I've been listening to Ozzy, and I'm pretty sure I've been listening to Sabbath like from my older brothers. I have two older brothers that were into hard rock and stuff like that. So no doubt I heard it. Maybe didn't know what it was, but but my first real memories of listening to Ozzy would have been, definitely in solo, in the solo realm. So he would have been out of Sabbath at that point, and I would have been listening to his solo stuff. So I can remember my buddy Sean, I think I mentioned, he lived across the road from me, and he was like, he was ahead of everything. He had the first this, that, and the other thing, and of course, music was no different. So naturally, he he was listening to Ozzy, and just sort of I picked it up through osmosis. no pun intended. based on the album there. Yeah, it was just I don't know. I think Andrew's back now. There he is.
Yeah,
I'm back. Sorry, guys. Just
Command the
my computer
legend.
decided
No,
to
it's okay.
completely freak out.
We kind of figured something was happening.
Yeah.
I made a joke because you were frozen, and I said you said that it was cold, but I didn't think it was that cold.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Continue what you were saying. I'll catch up later.
No, so it was just I didn't really say much. I was kind of going through my first initial memories of Ozzy, which is 5 years ago, I guess. So yeah, that's me. What about you, Conrad?
It was 87. I'd started high school in 87, and at the time I was into Van Halen, Europe, Bon Jovi, and knew a little bit of AC/DC, and that was pretty much all I really knew about hard rock and metal. I didn't really know much more than that. Maybe Twisted Sister. I think they made a bit of an impression on me, and Billy Idol, but that was really all I knew. And then a kid took me to his house, and kid at school took me to his house and played me some video clips. And I was like, oh my God. And Crazy Train, the clip to Crazy Train came on, which I think was released for the tribute record.
Yes, it was.
So that was 87. And so the clip to the tribute record was obviously Crazy Train. That they made that clip for that release of that record. And it came on and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is just, it just blew my mind away. And I still remember that, right now. It just takes me back right now to that point in time. And I was just like, wow. And, Randy Rhoads' polka dot guitar, Ozzy on the railway tracks, the vision, the whole imagery of it all, it just blew me away. And I was like, wow, who's this? And then I didn't really know the Sabbath stuff and the connection and all that. That came years later. And I was just like, yeah, this is great. It's brilliant. And that was it. And then I think I remember seeing, like, not long after that, I was watching, there was a program in Australia years ago called The Factory, which was a music program. And they No Rest for the Wicked had come out. And my first glimpse of Zakk Wylde was this, like, 19-year-old skinny kid, just going ballistic on the guitar for the clip to Miracle Man. And I was just all in. Absolutely all. I mean, I think I was all in from the moment I saw Crazy Train clip to that. I was all in, but, and then it just followed from there on in. I was like, right, okay, I got to check out this guy. And, yeah, so that was it. And then I think some friends of mine had "Speak of the Devil" record on had that on CD.
All right.
So that was played quite a bit around their place as well. So yeah, that was my sort of introduction to Ozzy. Yeah.
I think for my introduction, obviously people who know my backstory will know that my finding of this world started off with Queen, for example, in my early teens and slowly dripped out from there. I obviously knew about Black Sabbath and had heard some tracks here and there and all that sort of stuff. I think there was a double CD that came out in 2000, The Best of Black Sabbath, and that's where I really started to dive in much more deeply. Like, with many bands, like other bands, I've been a late comer to a lot of things, but I'd been aware I've seen all the video clips growing up and all that kind of stuff. I was never unaware, but just that's when I started to really sort of dive in and the deeper cuts that weren't the more well-known tracks, like your Paranoid and all this, the ones that everyone knows about. But when you start digging into the deeper tracks, even on a greatest hits compilation, quote unquote, you find those gems. You're like, shit, that was fucking cool. And that was where I started. And from there, it's been mostly just doing stuff with the show and obviously my own excursions, just finding things out as you go along. And so I can't really pinpoint where and when and how I had of it, and I can't even remember if it was bought or gifted or what anymore. But yeah, but I had that and just sort of started there, and yeah, really fell in love. And then over the years, obviously doing the show and other things as well. Like I was saying, yeah, just that's where it really sort of solidified into not only love of the music, but just awe of the man and his indomitable will to just keep going no matter what the fuck life threw at him. The man overcame so much. In his life that would have killed so many lesser individuals, twice over and then some, and he just kept on going and going and going. And that, I've always admired that sort of strength of spirit, let alone the musicianship and his pure talent at the heart of it all as well. I think one of the funniest moments in the show's history kind of thing was we did a Dio solo career versus Ozzy Osbourne solo career battle episode. That's up online if you want to check it out. Not a plug, but just saying we did this one years and years ago now.
Yeah.
And when we did that one, it was like a 1.5 point split between Dio and Ozzy. Kind of thing. That was one of the closest results we've ever had in any sort of battle format and whatever else have you. It was just a remarkable. We went through a lot to get to that result, and it was just such a thin margin, and just shows you at the end of the day, even when you get two powerhouse vocalists like that, he's just right up there with, the all-time greats. And regardless of the history of Black Sabbath and their influence across the board, his vocal prowess, his vocal tone, distinctive style, and all that sort of stuff is one of one. And there'll never be another.
I think they shared a few of the same musicians too, didn't they?
Yeah, over the years, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly
right.
So it was actually Jodie that let me know. She was awake before me the morning the news broke and sent me I'm always up later and she was always up before me, and she sent me the text with the article and quickly do your rounds and double check that everything's confirmed and accurate, and then shared it in Discord, and that's when obviously Jeff saw it. I'm not sure, Conrad, I don't know if you discussed it or where you got the news, where you were, what you were doing.
Well, I was about to post a bunch of pictures. I was going to go through my phone and post everything from the show. I got a bunch of pictures and footage from the show, which I wanted to post up. And then a girl whose kids were up there. I know one of the girl's kids, the son, and I was up there with him. And she, she's a friend of mine from Belfast, and she just said, Ozzy's just, I don't know if you've heard the news, sad news. I'm like, what? And she's like, Ozzy's just died. I'm like, fuck. So that threw me a bit after just seeing him only less than 3 weeks ago. It's a bit hard to digest. And it's happened a few times now where I've gone to shows and that's happening. I'm going to stop going to gigs. I'm getting a bit freaks me out when that happens. I'm like, fuck, not again. So it's happened before with some other band members. So it does rattle you when that happens because you
of course.
So not, as I said, not even 3 weeks ago, and now I was surprised he even made, was he going to make the gig? Was he going to be able to do the show? Was he going to be able to make the gig? And looking back now after seeing the show, this was his way of, maybe he knew, and this was his way of saying goodbye. That's maybe he knew deep down inside. He knew and didn't want to tell everybody, but this was his way of saying goodbye to the world. That show. But it's a possibility. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Absolutely, it is. Tony Iommi said in a clip, and it was a genuine clip, where he thinks that Ozzy just sort of held on to the end to do that show, and then
to do that show.
Afterwards, you think about it. The body. He was so ill and sick anyway. He just would have went straight down, and it, there was nothing really at that point to live for.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was a conversation we'd had behind the scenes about just ticking the box kind of thing. He got that one that he wanted to do, and this is all completely hypothetical.
No, of course it is.
It is. Yeah, we're speculating, absolutely, but
maybe he just died of a broken heart.
It could be anything, and at the end of the day, there's nothing anyone can realistically do about it. Going to quickly scroll through some comments. We've got a few coming through here. Vinny said, evening, lads, celebrating a colourful life. Yeah, get involved in the comments, people. Let us know what you want to talk about, your favourite memories, anything that comes to mind. Feel free to share. Michael's here. Hey, boys and girls. Rest in peace, Prince of Darkness. Yes, absolutely. That's what it is. Michael's gone ditto Jeff Oldfart as well. Followed up by saying, back me up, Cat. They're making me feel very old. Cat's gone, first at Ozzy through my older brothers until my teens, then bought my first Sabbath album, Sabotage. I'm old too, Jeff. So there we go. And they're all everyone's getting old. But Vinny said, Mr. Crowley was my first exposure to Ozzy. That darkness and doom-like sound drew me in. Using it in a school project for English in '87. As it turns out, we got an F, as we made no point whatsoever. Well done, Vinny. Wow. Well, Conrad, let's rip the bandit off. Tell us about the show. You were there. You've got the T-shirt on and all that sort of stuff. You were the only one amongst us there. Jeff, if you were following along in Discord, people, Jeff actually found you in the audience and
yeah. I managed to get a ticket the day before. A friend of a friend had a ticket and was like, offered me, it was $275 to be seated. And I was like, fuck, they're going for $400. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. And then I'm watching the show and I'm up in the stands and I'm like, fuck this, man. I've come all this way. I'm not fucking up, So I managed to sneak into the golden circle, to sneak down to the golden circle. And it was like, these are 500 pounds a ticket where these people are, and I managed to sneak down in there. And then I'm like, shit, I've got to go to this is a 10-hour fucking show. And I'm like, so I think this is before Alice in Chains had hit the stage. So before the first supergroup, might have been before the first supergroup hit the stage, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where in the day it was, but I think it was Lamb of God. I think we're on or something like that. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go and try and get amongst it and go to the bar and try and get amongst it. This is the time to go get a drink. Anyway, so, yeah, I think a Hailstorm had played. We'd seen Mastodon. We'd seen Rival Sons. Hailstorm had played. And then I was like, right, no, Anthrax, I think, had played. And I was like, right, I'm going to get amongst this. So, this is pissing me off. So I went and snuck down into the golden circle. And then I'm like, well, I've got to go to the toilet at some point in the day, and I can't keep, I don't want to drink beer, because if I drink beer, then I'm going to have to come out and I have to, try and sneak back in here. I managed to do it another 2 times.
Wow.
So a further 2 times, I managed to get back in again, a further 2 times, which I wasn't going to push it for a 4th.
Wow.
So I did it 3 times in total. I got in there 3 times in total, and I wasn't going to push for a 4th. So I managed to just not drink so much and watch it all. But I mean, the atmosphere was electric, and the bands were phenomenal. They're only doing like 3-4 songs each, most of them. Alice in Chains, I think, did 3. Everyone did 3 up until like the bigger hitters. The Alice in Chains did 3, and they were fantastic. And then we got into the super groups, which were just phenomenal. The super groups were amazing, and they're just a star-studded cast of people that I didn't expect, and they're pulling people out, and you're just like, oh, get fucked, this is unbelievable, And Vernon Reid playing with Nuno, and it was just, it was incredible. And then you got, Danny Carey playing with Chad Smith and the drummer from Blink, and I don't know what his name is.
Chad Barker.
Barker, I mean, it was just amazing. All these great musicians coming out. Jakey Lee comes out, does a thing with Lizzie Hale. It was just phenomenal. These guests that kept coming out. I was just like, oh my god, is this happening? Is this real? I'd never seen such a star-studded cast of A-list sort of rock metal icons all playing. And I've got to say, credit where credit's due, Nuno did a lot of the heavy lifting. Nuno did an awful lot of the heavy lifting. He had done his homework, I think, more than everybody else, and was on stage, I think, more than most. So Nuno, props to him. As much as it was great seeing all the other players, but he was the one, I think, doing most of the heavy lifting in that department. And Tom Morello to put it all together. He was the musical director that put it all together. It was, and everyone was just having a great time. It's there was none of that. There's no egos like, hey, I'm a rock star. There's no one stealing the show out there in front doing, sort of trying to everyone was getting equal share of the spotlight kind of thing, which is really cool. Nuno was encouraging actually Vernon. He was like, come on, I want you to, start doing lead. He's like, he's signaling to him, hey, pull out the lead, go for it kind of thing. Because I was, so it was great. It was really good. Just a cool vibe all around. Metallica were on fire. I've never seen them do a set that venomous in you. They were just explosive. They were so intense. They really were. All the bands, I couldn't fault anyone. There was not a band on the bill that put it. Everyone brought their A game. Everyone put 100% in. If not more, 110% in. Everyone was stoked to be there, and it was a great day. The atmosphere was fantastic. It was something I will remember for the rest of my life. Probably one of the best concerts, if not the best concert I've ever seen. It was definitely had that Live Aid kind of vibe to it. You knew you were witnessing something special. You knew you were really seeing something, amazing. And I wouldn't be surprised now that this has happened. Now, what's taken place?
There'll be another one. You watch. Yes.
There'll be. I can imagine now. After what's taken place, we're going to see a tribute to Ozzy show come out with, again, another star-studded cast of performers. Yeah. Maybe some of the people who didn't get to. Maybe some of the bands that didn't get to play on this one. I was expecting to see Megadeth on the bill, but that didn't happen. But nevertheless, everyone else was there. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen Tommy Aldridge added to this.
I agree.
Yeah, Tommy Aldridge would have been nice.
Bob Daisley would have been nice.
Bob Daisley, I couldn't see that. Obviously, I wasn't expecting that one day. It would have been nice.
He said he wasn't invited, but had he been invited, he would have probably did.
Yeah, I mean, Sharon. I think Sharon's the issue there. You talk to you see interviews with all of these people who played with Ozzy, and none of them have got anything bad to say about Ozzy at all. They've all said Sharon was the issue.
Well, hopefully now this has come to pass. Maybe old things can be laid to rest and things can move on for something better.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
in all honesty, all the bad shit that's been said over the years about Sharon and stuff like that, and I've said a lot of the bad stuff myself. But I feel sorry for her right now because
right now it's
she
of course
she would not know how to live life without Ozzy. He's been there basically her whole life, since she was a teenager, and
he gave her plenty of chance. To be honest, now. He admitted it himself. I saw something recently. He said it himself. It's like the fact that she didn't walk out on him is a miracle because he cheated on her. He cheated on her like he was, he was a bit of a peg in that respect. He was not very faithful and all that sort of stuff. And he, she stuck by him all those years after all the infidelity and all that shit, and all the crap that he put her through, and she's still stuck by him. So she's, an amazing woman to be able to do with that, to do that. Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into the negatives.
No, of course not.
Don't want to get into the negatives, but phenomenal day, and I still was on a high from it all, and still am from that day because I'm like, oh my god, what did I just witness? And it took a while for it to sink in. I think the next couple of days, seeing everything all over Facebook, all over the internet of it all, I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize the magnitude, just how epic this thing was until a few days later, and I thought about it all and had flashbacks of it all, and it was just like, fucking hell, I really was part of something. It was pretty epic,
It's apparently now officially it's raised more money for charity than any other concert in history.
Yeah. You guys? Sorry, go on. Yeah, it's up there with Live Aid, is it?
It beat Live Aid. Because Live Aid was 1984. So we got to adjusting for inflation, obviously.
85, 85. It was
rather, sorry, but that's what I mean. So
yeah, but the money wise, yes, it for inflation.
Well, it's raised $190 million for various charities, and I was just going to say
that's pounds.
That's pounds. Sorry, pounds. 190 million pounds. But and
it was a smaller stadium. It wasn't a big stadium. It was like 45,000 at that stadium.
I think.
Obviously, then you had the pay-per-view thing as well. That would have made a big difference as well in that, for sure.
Yeah, and
I don't doubt they're going to release it as a DVD. I'm sure it's going to come out as a DVD.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be a release of this as a DVD down the line. And I was going to say, as a segue to this, that you guys mentioned, a possible tribute show kind of thing, which I think will probably come down the line. But I don't know about immediately. I think possibly this might
No.
replace. I think that what might be a cool idea in the future to enhance the legacy, if you can, of Aussie even further, is that if you did an annual or biannual thing, this could replace Ozfest as a way to celebrate and grow and do it for charity every couple of years kind of thing. I think that could be really something special. That might be a potential future positive to come out of this if people feel inclined to do so. But I just wonder, do you have any thoughts on that? I would like to see it personally, but do you guys have any thoughts on something like that becoming a more perpetual thing?
Yeah, well, I see it happening in like a sense of, I mean, at Bloodstock you have the Ronnie James Dio stage, so they've devoted a stage to Dio at Bloodstock. You know, they call it the Ronnie James Dio stage, and that's the headlining stage. So you might get something like that where it's the Ozzy Osbourne stage at festival, at some sort of festival. I don't know, but or you might get a festival itself that's like a touring thing in memoriam, but like you said, it would have to involve obviously the money going to charities. Then
you'd want it to be that,
you'd want it to be that, and I don't know if that would be sustainable. And to do a one-off, yes, but for it to be a touring thing every year, would it be sustainable?
Yeah, I don't know every year, every so often.
I mean, if there's bands, people want to see bands regardless. So
that's right.
Going to a charity, they don't care. They just want to see the band, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. The bands themselves, they want to play it, and they're happy to play it for nothing and just to be a part of it. Then yeah, great. There'll probably be decades of bands then.
Absolutely. No shortage of bands.
Not to mention the supergroup aspect you could put together for this as well. You could have so many different iterations that would go through the ages. But time will tell on that sort of thing, obviously. I'm going to quickly find some more comments here just shortly. Craig says, hello, everyone. I'm back after a few weeks away. Hope you didn't miss me too much. We miss everyone not around. So we do miss people when they're not around. So glad to have you back, Craig. Ula's here saying, greetings all. It always puts a big weight on me when we lose a great musician, but Ozzy, it's truly devastating, especially after having watched so much of that final gig and seeing the love and respect from all of his peers. Nuno was huge, as has been said, and maybe the most surprising performances came from Youngblood.
Youngblood.
There you go.
That was on another. I mean, I got 5 rows from the front. Like I got right down the front, and this kid comes on. I'm like, who the fuck's this cunt? I'm like, who's this prick? Fuck, who are you? I'm like, who's this unknown? I'm like, and they're going, oh, this is Youngblood. I'm like, who the fuck's Youngblood? Never heard of him before. I'm like, who's this kid? So I was a bit like, nah, you're not worthy to be on this stage. Was my attitude. And I tell you what, by the end of that performance, I was just like, my jaw was on the floor and I was humbled as all fuck going, oh my God. Yeah. I was going, oh my God. This kid has just blown me away completely. I was just like, wow, this is a phenomenal performance. It was great. He smashed it. He was phenomenal. He crushed it totally. I was just like, wow.
Did you watch the clip with him and Ozzy? Before with the cross, they exchanged the cross. Wow, that was
yeah. I saw all of that stuff later, like after the show, all that sort of thing. But I mean,
Ozzy was a cross.
Yeah,
for Andrew's perspective, he was watching it. It was pretty.
It was
cool.
just
you can find it on YouTube.
I'll have a look.
Youngblood, he crushed it. He was just, and I'm hoping they're going to release that as a single. They're talking about releasing that. I'm hoping they'll release it as the live thing. They'll release that because that was just fucking unbelievable.
I'm sure there'll still be drip fed for a while to come yet. Once they get their ducks in a row with terms of production and that sort of thing too, they're not going to. They're going to release the DVD. I'm sure there'll be a soundtrack equivalent to all of this.
I'm sure it'll come out come Christmas time. They'll probably. Come Christmas, they'll probably release it as a package of Christmas. You get a CD with it.
So.
Yeah. So do I.
Jeff, you were watching. You had the pay-per-view version of things. You were watching. So, what was your impression? We have Conrad who was there, but what was your impression watching it live, as much as you could in the hours that it was on?
Yeah, it was because it was quite late, right? So I, as it happened, it was like I believe it was Saturday going into Sunday. So. I was able to, because I had to work Monday, I was able to watch it. That was cool. But I couldn't watch all of it. Like I literally had to. Like I got to the point where like this is 10 hours. Like I just can't. It started at like 12 o'clock midnight or something our time. So I'm like, I watched it until about, I don't know, about 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I got like 6 hours in, and I'm like, I just gotta go to bed. And then I got up. I only slept for a few hours. I got up and resumed from where I was. So I did miss it. But the thing is, it was delayed 2 hours anyway. So what they delayed the initial concert from 2 hours. So even though we were watching it live in the stream, it had already happened 2 hours prior. I think they did that just so that they could make some adjustments and stuff like that to the sound, because there was a guy that did a review. He does audio and video stuff like that. And his name's the show is a YouTube show called is it something of Pegasus, Stream of Pegasus, Wings of Pegasus, Wings of Pegasus.
I know who you're talking about.
And he's a pretty cool guy. He's an English guy, and so someone sent him a clip of a song, right, that they recorded on their phone, live, and then what was on the stream. And when he put them side by side and he compared them, he said there was they didn't adjust it. It wasn't like they pitch corrected it, but there is slight changes. So it's not one for one. And he said the only way they could have done that is if they had done something, they put it into a machine or whatever and adjusted it. So that maybe that 2 hours, that 2 hour window is what they were doing. I don't know.
Allowing for an EQ and processing. So
Ozzy still sounded fine. He still sounded fine. Like from what I heard from the original, what that somebody filmed, so it sounded fine. And obviously Conrad, you were there, so it sounded fine to me. Ozzy sounded great, to be honest.
I had no issues with this. I had no issues with any of the bands. I thought, initially, because I was up towards I was up on the stands when Mastodon first came on, and the delays weren't working properly. So that's pissing me off, because Mastodon's very complicated music. There's a lot going on in their playing. There's a lot of different time signatures and shit happening, and the delays were out of sync. So you were hearing two different waves of sound. You were hearing what was coming from the stage, which was them, and then you were hearing the delays, which weren't synced together properly, and that was frustrating. That was for Mastodon, but then after that it got a lot better. And they managed to sort that out within, I think even through Mastodon's set it got better throughout their set. So but still it was frustrating. But then when I got down the front, I was down the front there, and I had, even after Mastodon I was still up in the stands, and the bands all sounded fine. They sounded no issues with any of the sound, any of the performances. Got down amongst it, as I said, down the front, and fine. No, couldn't say any band sounded bad. Any performances were bad. No.
Here's something for you, Conrad.
There was a lot of controversy around Guns N' Roses. I thought they fucking crushed it. I thought they were great. I didn't understand what the fucking people were complaining about. I was like, no, this is fantastic. It's brilliant.
Well, when so I wasn't aware when I watched it, like obviously in the stream, maybe they played it down a bit in the stream. I don't know, but apparently we all know. So David Draymond comes out and then he gets booed, but I was like, I didn't hear it. I did not.
I'll be honest about the David Draymond booing. I can tell you now, all of about 3 people. 3 people booed, and it was very lackluster. It was very lackluster. It wasn't like he got mass booed. Fuck off. It was about 3 people booed, and they were embarrassed when they booed and nobody else did. It shut it down pretty quickly. It was like boo. Oh.
I did not hear it.
Nobody else. No. It was about 3 people.
Yeah.
It was about 3 people, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was nothing. It was nothing in it at all. And how we live in an era now these days, people like to sensationalize things. And,
of course.
It was like the next headline the next day. It was like, he was booed off stage. Fuck off. It was nothing like that.
It wasn't.
It was nothing like that at all. There was as I said, probably about all of 3 people booed, so, yeah. But,
nice.
that was it.
I'm going to
But
go
no,
through some more comments.
as
Sorry, yeah.
Guns N' Roses was concerned, I mean, they were great. I thought they were on fire. I don't know what the complaints were about. And for a lot of people that were moaning, I don't think those people were there.
No. Yeah,
The people sat at home. You know, maybe the stream didn't do it justice. Maybe the live stream the sound for that might have been shit. I don't know.
No, that would be great.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get some more comments in and see what's going here, because what do we got here? More back to Youngblood for a second. Vinny's gone, good point. Well, I'd never heard of Youngblood. However, he put on a great performance and actually beginning to enjoy some of his craft, which is cool. He's confirmed that it's $290 million spread across 3 charities. Also, glad we saw your big bonds in that smaller stadium, Conrad. There we go. The photos that went through Discord. There we go. There's a petition apparently to rename Birmingham Airport after Ozzy in some way.
Wow.
There you go. There.
Wow.
That would be awesome.
And in the stream, Jolie said Guns rocked, surprised me. So there you go. So Jolie was enjoying Guns N' Roses as well.
Yeah.
Ula says, I think the Youngblood Changes, that was released as a single for charity, went number 1 on iTunes within a couple of days. Wow, that's impressive too. Back to the Beginning is getting a cinematic release next year, so there we go. More on this.
I heard that.
Vinny says it's about time Youngblood came on. That kind of represented us old bloods. Of course, Vinny. All right, here we go. Mark, good to see you. I haven't recalled seeing your name here before, so if I'm wrong with that, I apologize, but it's good to see people here. What a truly genuine person, no ego, brought a lot of joy for over 40 years, almost feel like you knew him. I think a lot of people are feeling that way at the moment.
That's right.
Followed up with Legends Never Die, coming from a born-again Christian. Glad to hear he asked for his Bible after the show that he's been spreading it before that too. May Jesus take good care of him all. Whatever brings you peace at the end, hopefully that works out for him as well. Michael said we watched the stream via YouTube before it got ripped down, and GNR were fantastic. So there we go. And also, Junior's eyes was excellent. Okay, cool. I didn't know about that one either. So, unfortunately, when this was all going down in the show kind of thing, I was well and truly in the trenches with a lot of overtime at work. So I was not able to spare any hours. I think the weekend this was going on, I was just trying to sleep. I was pretty wrecked in the moment.
No doubt.
But let's get into we've all talked about the show a bit, and I think that'll play out as it does in due course. But we've touched on our history a little bit with Ozzy and stuff. But I'd like to just touch on. I think he's the godfather of rock or metal and all that stuff, and all the attributes that will be superfluous for years to come. I don't think you could ever have words to do justice to the legacy you leave behind. But I just want to touch on things that maybe a little bit deeper in that. Obviously, everyone knows Randy Rhoads, but he's also brought a whole heap of other individual talents to the spotlight as well. So you think about, the different guitarists over the years, even working with Gus G and all that kind of stuff as well. It goes down through generations, and that too, from Jackie Lee down to people like that. What do you guys think of as time will play out, his influence and his ability not only to give bands their starts on tours and that, which we'll probably get to later on, but just the individual musicians that he's brought along for the ride and how they've been able to grow their careers from that to the individual standpoints, let alone the whole bands. What do you think of that, Jeff?
Well, look, there's no question. He's got an ear for talent when it comes to guitar players. Starting with Randy, well, technically coming from Tony Iommi is one of a kind as well, and then getting Randy, and then when Randy passes, a young, but it was a few other ones. There was, but Brad Gillis. Ranger, amazing, and then Jakey Lee. I never got to see Jake live. I'm sorry to say I wanted one of my favorite guitar players. I wanted to see him, and so I'm envious of you, Conrad. You got to see Jake. Anyway, but and then of course there's Zach and
Zach, absolutely.
Amazing. Or
Zach Wild would not have a solo career. He wouldn't have a solo career without us.
No, exactly.
Gave birth to his solo career. Totally.
Absolutely gave birth to his career. Totally, just personally.
From full absolutely.
Stop.
I mean, he was like 19 years old, I think, when Ozzy scooped him up.
That's right.
But
then there's Joe Holmes, who I've seen live. I got to see Joe Holmes play. Now, Joe Holmes, if you don't know who Joe Holmes was, he was a guitar player. He never played on any of Ozzy's albums. They were going to, but it just didn't happen. This was in the mid 90s. And Joe Holmes was actually one of Randy's students.
Wow.
And so I got to see him. So that was on the Osmosis album. Yes, Osmosis album. I think it was.
But hang on, I think Zach's on the album.
Yes, he
Zach's
is.
on Osmo,
Yes.
but he didn't do the tour. He didn't do the
didn't
tour.
do the tour. That's right. And
That's
even
right.
Steve Vai is on the album. If you want to get with the song "My
Wow.
Little Man," Steve
Wow.
Vai played the guitar on "My Little Man." But
Wow.
but
I saw that Osmosis tour. And I'm like, where the fuck's Zach?
And then
I was a bit disappointed.
Joe Holmes as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a great guitar player. Like, you know.
But he was a young kid too. He was some young kid, you know. I was like, who's this young kid up there?
Correct. So
Yeah.
And then you got Gus G.
Yep.
And then of course you got Zach again. Look, Ozzy's got a talent. Dio had a talent. Like all these guys just seem to be able to find amazing guitar players, you know. And even like in the later years, with like the drums and the basses. Now I'm not gonna. I love Bob Daisy is one of my favorite bassists of all time. And then, but the caliber of basses just improved over time. It just got better. Same with drummers, you know, like, you know, eventually getting, you know, Mike Borland and you got that Tommy Clefeo or whatever his name is.
Oh, he's ridiculous. That kid, that young Tommy Cafluso.
That's right. Yeah. What a drummer! Like,
that guy's brutal. That guy's insane.
So that sort of caliber, like, I don't know how they do it, but they just do it. Yeah.
I think that's Sharon. She picks the talent. I got
maybe. Yeah.
Maybe
she does that, so he doesn't have to worry and stress. I think she sort of brings these people in and finds them. I don't know where she finds them, but obviously she must screen them first or whatever, and then brings them to him, and he makes. But yeah, he's always had great players with him, like you said, Mike Floyd and Mike Inez. I saw Mike Inez with Alice in Chains.
Yeah, he was there. That was cool.
It was his bass sound with Alice in Chains was so thick, so thick and rich and clunky. It was great.
One of my favorite bass players, actually.
Yeah, he was fucking monster, and and then to see that lineup with Ozzy was Mike Inez, Tommy Cafuso. You had Rick Wakeman's son. Yeah. Rick Wakeman's son was on keys, and Zach on guitar, of course. Yeah, and it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah,
like it's just an all-star band. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's going touching back on. We've already done this bit here, but Mark said a few months ago he wanted to play with Bill again, do this last gig, then he can die happy. I think after that he felt he accomplished his life's mission, and maybe that's what it is. And if you get to go, I think that for me personally, we always do these sorts of shows after someone's gone. I think this is probably the first time we've done a show while the person is still with us to celebrate their life and their legacy. And I hope, for me personally, that this becomes a trend as opposed to waiting until after the fact. I'd like to see it being done more often so we can share the moment with the artist, as opposed to, I mean, a celebration is a celebration anyway. You want to do it, but I just think that if we can do more of this, celebrating people while they're still with us, as opposed to only after they're gone, I think that we can do everyone a great service in recognizing what people have done, how many lives they've touched. Yeah.
In sentiment, it's a great sentiment. However, a lot of artists, they don't know they're dying or they're leaving or checking out. So that's
possible,
thing,
obviously. Right? Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Yeah. No, I think that goes without saying. But
yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. Ula said, I was lucky enough to see J.K. Lee with Badlands in Ventura, California, 1990. It was fantastic that he joined that final gig. Wow, that's cool, Ula. Nicely done there.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. Wow. And Michael says, my foray into Sabbath was at school. I had Elo's first album on cassette and was offered a swap for a Sabbath cassette. I went home, asked Big Brother who'd give to me ELO if it was okay, swapped the next day. Wow. So you swapped ELO for Sabbath, and off you go. That's quite remarkable. That's
good trade.
Yeah, good trade. Well, let's touch on this. I'll go first on this one because I've only seen Ozzy perform the once, and that was on the End tour with the 13 album and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be forever grateful that I did go to that show. We went to see Jody and I went together, and we were in the nosebleeds at the back, but we're in front of it. Like we had we're in the nosebleeds. We had a great view down onto the whole stage kind of thing. So we're pretty much in the center. And
I think I was at that. They did 2 nights.
2 nights, yeah. I don't know.
I was there. there. Yeah. Is that the night when Zach threw his guitar into the audience?
This is Black Sabbath, not.
Oh, no.
Black Sabbath.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't at that. Sorry.
No.
Apologies.
But that's all good. No, but for me, seeing the band was fantastic, and obviously at the time that I saw them, Ozzy was still, even back then. This has gone back over a decade now, I think. Ozzy was battling some sort of cold or something that night to try and get himself through, but he just soldiered on the whole way through. And I loved the show. I think it was fantastic. It was one of those moments where you get to tick the box and say, yes, I got to do that, because you don't know if you'll ever get that chance kind of thing. And
exactly.
I was grateful to it, especially at that point in time. They'd released that first album was how long? The first album in over a decade, I think, the first album at all, that band, and then they went on a tour, and then said goodbye and stuff, and that was phenomenal to me. I'm pretty sure Jeff, you were there maybe from memory at that show. I think I don't know.
I saw it in Birmingham. I saw it in Birmingham, that tour.
Okay. Yeah,
I saw that tour in Birmingham. But
I did see Sabbath when I saw them in Canada.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, but Tommy Kafus, Tom, same. Yeah,
it
Tommy
was on drums. Yeah. But it wasn't the original. Bill didn't make that tour, but the rest of the band did. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it was fantastic, and you could tell how much Ozzy, even then, I mean, always, but at that point in time, he just loved being on stage, and he was just thriving in the moment. And while I wouldn't say it was a perfect performance, it was still fucking fantastic. And I never thought I'd see him again. I don't think he ever came. I don't know if he think he did maybe one more solo show here after that or something. I don't know didn't know how many shows he did, but
I think that so. I think that was it. That was it. I think
maybe one more. Yeah, but that was the last one. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, it was one of those things where you look back on, especially in hindsight, obviously, because that's 2020 for everything. But it was one of those things where I'm fucking glad that I went. And even though I'm a long way removed from going to the front row anymore. I don't really. It's too sore for me these days. Too many injuries to carry. But it was one of those things where you look back even before this news, obviously, but I'm so fucking glad that I got to see. Would I have loved Bill Ward to be there? Absolutely, but at the same time, to have seen that band play that way and how on fire they were, especially Geezer and Tony. I mean, Tommy was fucking off his fucking hook as well, but those two playing as strong as they were at that time was really something remarkable and special to me in that moment. Jeff, you said before you've seen in Canada, so your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I saw I got to see Ozzy twice solo and once with Sabbath, and I've got a funny story that I'll tell about the first time I saw Ozzy, which is, if you don't mind, but I'll wait for Conrad to come back. We'll just sort of pat it up because I want him to hear. Hopefully it's
hopefully it works. I'm not sure what's going on there.
I don't know. Yeah. Look, getting back to the legacy of Ozzy, I think that if anybody, I mean, we all love Dio and all that stuff, and there's no question Dio is an absolute amazing singer. But now that they're both passed, and we got to see, we all lived through Dio, and it wasn't easy, but it wasn't on the scale of this. This is like making worldwide news.
Yeah,
I mean, the world has literally stopped because Ozzy has passed on. Thank you, Conrad, for coming back.
Just on that note, it's funny because I got a press release. I won't divulge what it was about, but I got a press release about a big band doing something special, and then they sent out an email because that was on auto send, like a lot of these things are, and they sent out a follow up saying, "Do not," because the band have postponed this in light of what's happened. So yeah, the world has stopped to remember
It has. The world has stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, Dio was
I-
massive, but not
I mean-
like this. Nothing like.
I mean, I saw a lot. I'm going tonight. I'll be seeing Lita Ford tonight. I'm off to Lita
Wow.
Ford tonight.
Yeah.
I don't doubt. I'll be surprised if she doesn't do, Close My Eyes Forever.
Yeah.
It's going to be, a very emotional moment tonight for that. To see that.
Yeah,
she'll do it. Yeah.
That's a hard song just to even listen to now, given the context.
Yeah.
And
Lemmy wrote that. Lemmy wrote. A lot of people don't realize Lemmy actually wrote quite a lot of Ozzy stuff too. He did a few of Ozzy's songs. So he's
It's an interesting crossover in that regard as well.
He probably earned more money out of doing Ozzy songs than he did Head songs.
Yeah, right. You might have. That's just the popularity of it. Exactly.
Conrad's lucky, apparently, for seeing Lita Ford. Jolie's gone in Discord. Jolie, you lucky bitch. But anyway, Jeff, you were going to tell us a story a second ago.
All right,
so please.
I'll tell you the story. So obviously being a massive Ozzy fan and like my friends and stuff, and I just couldn't, had to see him, and so we had Bark the Moon. I was too young, really. And then The Ultimate Sin. I was getting up there. There was a chance I could go, and it just didn't pan out. And then No Rest for the Wicked. And I'm like, fuck, I am going. There's nothing that's gonna stop me. So me and my friends, we all got our money and stuff. We bought tickets, and we lived in a place called Belleville, Ontario, in Canada, right? And so the concert was in Montreal, which is in Quebec. So we've got a friend who lives in Ottawa, which is right on the border of Quebec, basically. So we thought, well, we'll go up there, the three of us, because my friend he had come down. So we'd go up there, stay at his place, then on the night, his parents' place, and then the next day meet up. We bought this bus package where we could then meet up where this bus was, and then it would take us from Ottawa to Montreal. So the idea was that we would drive to Ottawa. And so we headed out, and the concert's the next night. So we headed out, and it was quite late. Everybody had to work and stuff, and we got out on the road, and my buddy was driving his car, and all of a sudden, all the lights went out on the car. Like the headlights went out, the dash light went out, and I'm in the back seat. And so I got Lawrence and Wayne. Lawrence is driving, and Wayne passenger. I'm in the back seat. I'm like, fuck off, guys. You got to get us fucking killed. It's like midnight. Stop fucking around. Turn the lights on. He's like, I didn't do it. So all the lights went out, and it was on a dark fucking road. So we pulled off the side of the road. This is before mobile phones. And then the car just fucking died. It literally just died. All the electrics and everything died. Couldn't turn anything on. Couldn't start it. It just stopped.
Wow.
So we had to walk. And this was like at midnight. So we had to walk like I don't know how far. It was really far to this house that we just found on this road. And we're like knocking on the door.
Wow.
And so like all of a sudden the lights come on, and just like, yes, can I help you through the door? And we're like, we're really sorry to bother you, but is there any can you imagine?
Wow.
Like three people standing out there in the dark, like anybody's gonna open the door. But luckily these people were kind enough. We explained that, our car broke down on the road. Anyway, they let us go in. We got in touch with who we needed to get in touch with. But now we're like, we've got a problem. We've got to get to Ottawa. Ottawa's about a 4-hour drive from where I live. Okay. Wow. So it's a fair drive.
Yeah, you ain't walking that.
Not walking that. So, and it's too late. The trains have all gone. And the last buses have gone. So how are we going to get there? Nobody can drive us. We don't have a car. So we got my buddy's stepfather came out to that house. We waited. Wow. We got in the car, and we went back to the car, locked it all up and everything, and said, "Well, there's nothing we can do. We're fucked." So here we are. We get back to his house. It's about 3:00 in the morning, and we're like, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" Because we got these tickets, and we were just so adamant that we had to get to see Ozzy. So we're like, we can't take a train, we can't take a bus, and nobody else can drive. We got no way to get there. And Kelly couldn't do it. That's the stepfather. He couldn't do it because he had to work in the morning. So there was no way. So as it happened, he said, "Well, you can always take a taxi." And we're like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
take a taxi. He said, yeah, I can make a call. You can take a taxi. They can do like a flat rate. So we were so desperate that we did a taxi,
Jeez.
4-hour taxi from one city to another to Ottawa. We got
What a
there.
cost
We
of
got to his parents'
fortune.
place. Oh yeah, it was so expensive.
Oh my god!
We got there,
Think about that, Bill.
and no, it was insane. But at least we got there. So then we got to his parents' place, my friend Wayne's parents' place. We were so late. We were supposed to get there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and now it's like almost 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got there. We slept as much as we could, but we had to be up at a certain time because the bus was leaving from Ottawa to take everybody from there to Montreal. So we get we don't have any sleep. We're like we're fucking like wired for sound. We're drunk. We're because we had been drinking and everything like that.
You'd be so overtired too. Like you'd be
so
fucked.
tired and the whole bit.
Yeah.
But we were dedicated, and we did. We got in, and we got on that bus. Okay. And we had like a bag, and in the bag we had like bottles of booze and stuff that we were going to plan that and we got on there, and like the tour manager thing for this bus package jumps on the bus, and he goes, everyone's sitting there, and he's like, our attention, and he's like yelling, he's basically, this guy's like a drill sergeant from fucking, something out of fucking Full Metal Jacket. This guy was like really fucking, you just like, oh my god. Militant. And he's like, he goes, I don't want any one of you little bastards doing anything illegal, no drinking, no smoking, nothing. And he said, this bus driver he's been told that if anybody does anything like that, that he's to pull over, turn around. This bus is coming back to Ottawa, and you guys will not be getting to that concert. And I haven't made myself clear. And we're all like, oh fuck, So we're sitting there, and nobody's like, you could hear a fucking pin drop. So then he gets off the bus, okay, and then we're driving down the road. We're making our way out onto the highway, and from Ottawa to Montreal, it's about an hour and a half drive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on the highway, and we're just getting outside the city limits of Ottawa, and then the bus driver goes, shh. He comes on the PA thing when he's talking, and he goes, I just want you guys to remember that I can't see or hear anything. Enjoy. The place goes fucking crazy. I mean, like all of a sudden, like it was going down the highway. It was like a Cheech and Chong bus. People, like the whole place was just full of smoke. And by the time we got to Montreal, we were like shit faced. We were so drunk. We were drunk, and like people were passing around, a little bit of everything. Yeah. And not the Conrad. There he goes. He's back.
He's getting a second-hand hit.
Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, we get there, and then we're in Montreal. Now Montreal, keep in mind, Montreal is a French-speaking city. It's
they all speak French there. Yeah.
Correct. So we can't speak anything. So we were like, we got there.
They don't understand you.
No. Well, the problem is with French people. They can understand you. They can understand English, but they choose not to. And they choose not to. Suffer. Yeah, they make you suffer.
They basically take on the French persona as well.
Oh yeah, when they know you're English, they just treat you like a total, So anyway, so me and my buddy Lawrence are there, and we're like, of the three of us, we're probably not as drunk as my friend Wayne is. And so Wayne is like out of it. So I'm sorry, I have a point to the story. It's a long story, but I'm what the hell, right? So Wayne is basically out of it, and he's like, I gotta find a piss, gotta take a piss. So we're like, well, find a restaurant or something. So he goes up the street, and he's you still there, Conrad?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you were typing away.
Yes.
He goes, and then like, so half an hour goes by, and we're like, where's Wayne? Where's he gone? Oh my God, we've lost Wayne. Now, keep in mind, we're staying at his place, his parents' place in Ottawa. So we got to get back out. So we're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Yeah. So we're like walking up and down these streets looking for a restaurant and thinking we're going in one place. Have you seen this guy? And they're looking at us because we're speaking English, and they're looking at us like, oh, fuck off, you little bastards. So we're going in all these toilets in these restaurants, and he's not here. He's not here. We're going down the street, going to the next one, looking around. Finally, we get to a toilet upstairs in this one restaurant, and we're going to push the door open, and the door won't open. Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, so we finally get it open, and there's somebody on the other side of that door, and it's my buddy Wayne, passed out.
Jeez.
And so, yeah, he is out of it, passed out on the floor in a restaurant upstairs. And we get him out of there, you know, and we go in to see the concert. And so the concert was great because it was Vixen opening up.
Wow.
I'm seeing them. They're supporting tonight. They're supporting leader tonight.
Well, there you go. So Vixen, White Lion, and Ozzy. Wow. So it's 3 bands, right?
That's great.
So we get into this spot. We get our spot where we are. Lawrence and I are starting to sober up a little bit, but, you know, Wayne, of course, is now at this point, like, he is just one of these guys that just can't handle his alcohol. Mm-hmm. He's literally standing up and leaning over the railing where we are in the stadium.
Wow.
And the security guards come around and go, what's wrong with him? You know, and Vixen or something is playing. And we're like, I don't know. And they're like, well, he can't be like that here. So they take him, they literally carry him away, and they take him. Yeah, he's gone. We're like, holy fuck. So we watch Vixen, then White Lion comes out, and Wayne is still no longer, he's gone. And so Lawrence and I are panicking at this point because we don't know what's going to happen after the concert because we're in a strange city as well. And so
like Spinal Tap.
It's just like Spinal Tap. Exactly right. You couldn't make this
Isn't it like what's that film with the Detroit Rock City?
Yeah.
Detroit Rock City. You're going to a concert. Yeah.
So Ozzy's on, right? And Lawrence and I are like, we're getting into it, but we're panicking in the back of our minds because we're thinking, like, Wayne is gone. We don't know where the fuck he is. So, and then all of a sudden, we see Wayne coming up the stairs with a tray of beer. I'm like, where the fuck have you been? Right? We're trying to yell over the loud music and everything like that. And he's trying to tell us, find out later, they took him to this recovery room. And so he's like literally on the toilet on a stretcher. They lay him on his stomach so that he can puke into a bucket so he doesn't, you know, aspirate or whatever. And so he doesn't do that. He wakes up and he's like, where am I? And they're like, you're at the recovery room. And he's like, and he can hear the music and he goes, well, do I have to stay? They're like, no. And he's like, good, I'm fucking out of here. So he got up and somehow, we're not sure how, but he found his way back to us. We're not sure how he did. To this day, we don't know how he did it. But he did. So we got the beers. We got basically, we were, you know, passing out beers. We were drinking. And it was a great concert. I'll never forget the memories of that concert because everything that led up to it has made this, of all the concerts I've ever been, that is by far the craziest I've ever been. But that memory is now firmly etched in my head. And all to see the man Ozzy. And so it was an amazing concert. I still can remember little bits of it, but most of it I remember is what occurred. You know,
leading up to it.
Yeah. And the next time I saw Ozzy was in '95. That again was in Montreal in a place called Verdun, at the Verdun Arena. And then I saw, that was solo. That was with Joe Holmes on guitar. And then I saw Ozzy with Sabbath, all the original members in like '98, I think it was, and that was at the Toronto in the Sky Dome, and that was Bill Ward and everything. That was the whole bit. It was awesome, and that was a good show because in that show was the previous show, the one I saw in Verdun, a young band that I'd never heard of opened up. I don't know who the fuck they were at the time, but it was a little band called Fear Factory.
Oh, wow.
And they had just released their first album, Demanufacture. Didn't know who they were, but I was an instant fan. And then going to the Sabbath one, it was the Deftones opened up.
Oh, wow.
And Pantera opened up after that, and then Sabbath. So I got to see the original Pantera.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I've seen some pretty amazing things to see Ozzy. And anyway, sorry to hijack, but I had to. That was an amazing story. It was because I lived through it.
Yeah, no, and obviously got home okay, and got to.
We got home. Yeah, we got home all right. But we got back to Ottawa, and I remember some guy on the way back to Ottawa. Some guy had like those ghetto blasters, like those old ones, right?
Yeah.
He had this thing. He was on the bus,
Wow.
And somehow he'd gotten into the concert. He had taped the whole fucking concert. We were listening to the concert on the way back. He had recorded all the audio.
That's
I'm like, fuck, man, this is awesome. Yeah, it was great.
That's amazing. Wow. All right, well, this might be, I don't know if Conrad can actually top this one, but anyway, your favorite memories of seeing Ozzy or Sabbath live? That's the context of that.
I saw Sabbath on the reunion tour, and it was the first shows at Birmingham. It was the very first shows at Birmingham. The two nights, and you'll see me in the gatefold.
Yes,
you can pull out the CD.
Mm-hmm.
You pull out the CD, you'll see me in the audience. I'm on that.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was great to see everybody. Everyone gets into the arena, and before they've even come on, everyone's like, what the fuck? It's seated. It's like seated. And you just saw all of these fans just throw all these seats, all these chairs, just stacked them, just shoved them in the middle of the arena and piled them up. Everyone was just hurling them and piling them in the middle of the arena. And security were like, they're not going to fucking do anything. They're not going to do shit. No way. So we're just throwing and just pushed all these chairs back and made mountains out of these rows of seats and just got on with it. And then we're like, fuck, we're into it, and it was great. It was fantastic, yeah. That was fun. And watching all these fucking rows of chairs getting
Yeah.
Because everyone was just like, no fucking way. Absolutely not. So that was great. And then that was a killer gig. That was 2 nights.
Yeah.
2 nights. And then and then as you'll see me there on that thing. Another time seeing Zach, seeing Ozzy in Melbourne.
Oh.
Saw him in Melbourne, and Zach was teasing the crowd throughout the evening with one of his Les Pauls throughout the evening.
Wow.
And he actually fucking lobbed it. He lobs it into the crowd, launches it into the crowd. One kid gets it, some fan gets it, and they all just pile on top, like just try and. I've never seen anyone take such a fucking beat. Like, he held onto that thing for dear life. Like, and security had to come in and pull it all apart and try and work out who got it first and make sure the right person got hold of it. And you just see him getting escorted out and thrown into a cab. Like, they escorted him out the building. Like, fuck off, your night's over, mate. That's it. But you're getting Zach's. You got Zach's guitar.
I reckon it'd be worth it for sure.
You got one of Zach's Les Pauls. Wow. So that was phenomenal, and the arena erupted when that happened. Everyone just went lost their minds. It's like, what?
Yeah,
it's mental. Yeah, that was great. So those are my two probably wildest. Times with seeing Ozzy, and I did Ozfest over here in the UK. I did Ozfest a couple of times, with some good lineups on those. But but definitely the Sabbath show at Birmingham was a big deal, and with Bill Ward obviously, and then I think I saw the Ozfest at Donington or played Donington, whether it was Download Fest or Ozfest, one of them, a few times anyway over the years, quite a few times as Sabbath and as Ozzy's, but always good. Yeah. So definitely.
I'm going to segue. My experience was so tame by comparison. We're going to segue over to some comments here and see how far we get down here. Craig has chimed in saying Gillis had already made a name for himself on the Night Ranger debut prior to being invited on the Aussie tour. They'd also begun recording their seminal second album as well. Johnny, good to see you, has gone seeing Ozzy for the first time Melbourne Festival Hall. Wow, that would have been fucking cool. And that venue, some bands would be fucking great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cameron, thanks for coming in.
Festival Hall.
Yeah, let us know when that was, Johnny. That'd be curious to see. It was a while ago, the comment, but hopefully you're still here.
Yeah.
Cameron, good to see you. I don't recall seeing you here either, so thanks for joining in. I met Ozzy in 97 and saw him at Festival Hall that year. Maybe it's the same year. Was obviously not well even all those years ago, but put on a great gig. Rest in peace. And thank you for jumping in and sharing that with us as well, Cameron. Good to see you, and thank you. Michael says Ozzy nailed it in 99 at Festival Hall. Fucking hell, okay, 99, 97, I don't know. And we were at Rod Laver, both Jolie and me, when Zach chucked that V to the kid. So there you go. There's another person at the same. There you go. Fucking hell. Here we go.
Yeah.
Where that comment was before that story. So there we go in timeline.
Wow.
Michael also went to 2003 Sabbath and prior Heaven and Hell with Dio. Fuck, wow, that's cool.
Wow.
Jeez.
I saw that Heaven and Hell. No, that's right. A Heaven and Hell one in in Melbourne. I saw that. Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. Not the tour, not the Heaven and Hell tour. No, that was 1980. But I saw them when they reformed and did the
as Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, that was fucking. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Cameron also said, saw Dio a couple of times in London, also a great performer, both great losses. They are. And this is the thing about it too, is when you start digging through a band overall, not just, this is about Ozzy obviously tonight, but when you go through the history of bands and people that are lost and the influence of both of these vocalists, but Dio and Ozzy at the same time, it's like, you can only imagine, you think about the All-Star Jam they could all have up there at the moment, fucking, to be a fly on the wall for that would be something special, I think. Ula chimed in saying, likewise, Andrew, but I was at the Brisbane show. Remember it feeling very surreal whenever Ozzy gave us "I Love You All." Yeah, and "Let Me Hear You." He did that a lot in that tour, and it was fantastic. He truly did love his crowds. That was the thing, like seeing him live, and you could genuinely tell the love and joy he had in those moments, which I will never ever forget. Now, sorry, Michael's gone. Leader who? Sorry, private joke with Jolie. Well, you better be glad that Jodie's not with you either, because Leader Ford's one of Jodie's favorites. Nadia, thank you for jumping in with the hand wave there. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you. Man, family, glad I tuned in for that story. It was a hell of a story there from Jeff before. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm sorry. Duguncan. Sorry, I would pronounce that, but I'm shocking with that. But we lose big legends, but his legacy lives with us. And that's the thing too. In all of these things, you can say and think and feel what you like, but as long as people are remembered, they're never completely gone. And I think that's the thing we'll all try and hang on to as the years and everything else progresses as well. Rowan's here. Good to see you. He's gone White Lion connection. White Lions, Vito Brata was almost Ozzy's guitarist at one point, but clashed with Sharon, so it didn't happen. There we go. Nadia, I was new to the channel, but yeah, bye. Okay, thanks for joining us, and bye to you, I guess. I'm not sure what happened there, Nadia, but thanks for joining us for a little bit. Johnny 97 it was, so there we go. That confirms that year. Vinny says, I was at that Melbourne concert in 2013 or 2015, I think it was. That neon purple set they began with was stunning, and it turned around to Ozzy appeared to the roar of the crowd. Yeah, no, it was a very, very special night. Michael said Dio was here in 86, I think, at Festival Hall, which was awesome. So there we go. We're all getting a lot of memories into these ones too as we go along. I'm not sure how long this will go for. I was hoping to get some people from Discord and long-time supporters into the show, but obviously people get camera shy or gun shy when the opportunities come. I've got a few things to get through yet. So just while we're taking a moment, there's a whole lot of catalog between Sabbath and his solo career. There's a whole lot there to go to. So let's start rattling off. Yeah, that's just a few songs. But let's start going through some of our favorite albums and what they mean to you when you found them. I'll start with Jeff again for this one. Some favorite albums and what they mean to you.
Okay, so Sabbath, it's got to be Sabotage. I don't know what it is that there's something about the album I just love. I mean, I love all their albums. I mean, there's not a bad album with Ozzy, really. There's just not. But Sabotage, yeah, the song "The Writ." Wow, that song just I cannot stop. I just listen to that over and over and over again. Well, that be Sabbath definitely for sure. And then Bark the Moon. Even though I'm a big Randy fan, I love Blizzard and I love Diary, and they're fantastic albums. But for me, there was something about Bark the Moon. It was a bit more of a mature album. I think, and some of the songs, like Now You See Me, Now You Don't, You're No Different, like these songs were not like, they were never going to make the radio, and there were songs that like they just sort of had like a maturity to them that Ozzy really hadn't done in the past, which I think was cool. Plus, like I said, it was actually the first album that I ever owned that I paid for with my own money. Wow. It cost, I bought the cassette, and it came out on my birthday, November 15th, 1983. And so it was $9.99 for the cassette and 70 cents provincial sales tax, which took it up to $10.69 for the cassette. And I wore that fucker out. I tell you what, but it was a epic cassette, and it was white, It had the black
Wow,
printing on it, and I wish I still had it. I think my brother has it somewhere, probably in a pile
Oh, wow.
of boxes back home. But I would love that. Even though it wasn't an LP, I'd just love to have that. But I was like, that was the first one that I actually owned, actual cassette. But like,
Wow.
I had basically all my friends and stuff at school who had like, oh, I got, because my friend Sean and stuff like that, I knew it, but I just didn't have. Sean wouldn't lend me any of his cassettes or anything like that to other than the Kiss one that I used to borrow over and over and over and over again. But he basically said keep it. I got sick of me lending it to me. But the Ozzy ones he wouldn't lend me, so I could listen to it at his house, but he wouldn't give it to me. So I had friends at school, and I'm like, oh, I got Blizzard of Oz. I got Diary of a Madman. I'm like, I'll give you a blank tape. Can you make a copy of me? That's how I got my. That's how I got my music.
Wow.
So and then I just wore those out. Yeah. So but sorry. I'm kind of.
Well, the point is that this whole thing is to celebrate and share what we're thinking and feeling and that. And so, we're trying to get some positives. Everyone's going to mourn and feel this life, but let's try and celebrate the things that we can while we're at it. But yeah, Conrad, favorite albums?
I think, as I said, my first introduction to Ozzy was the tribute record in '87. So I'd started high school, and that kid showed me Crazy Train video clip. I was all in. So that holds a place in my heart. That one in particular. And No More Tears. Obviously, No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears. I think those as well. We really have a soft spot for those. And Osmosis. I think the song Perry Mason. I think that's a fucking great track. I love that song. Perry Mason. That's a monster of a song. So I really enjoy that. So those albums are. So I guess the later or mid period, you could call that now. I guess it's the mid period of his solo career. So those records. I guess those are the ones with Zach, which was my probably. Me being that was kind of when I discovered Ozzy, as I said, the tribute record, and then from No West for the Wicked onwards. So those ones were really quite impressionable to me. And as for Sabbath, I think Bloody Sabbath, that record, I think really, that song in particular, and that record, I really like that a lot. Those are the ones for me, definitely.
Nice.
I think for me, on the Sabbath side of things, obviously the debut album, I just think in terms of the legacy that has left behind, not only the sound, the style, what it's done to music and how it changed everything, the artwork, the whole thing is a really, really special moment to the point where even we played the game and Dave got the album title when I just lifted off the first fucking not even halfway through my fucking first clue, and Dave's gone bang, and it's like, oh fuck, that was a quick game. But that's how important and notorious that album is. But for me, I think the first sort of 3 albums, so Paranoid and Master of Reality as well, those are the ones that I would go to the most for Black Sabbath with Ozzy, that catalog there. When it comes to his solo stuff, that said, don't sleep on 13. 13's a very good album overall. For Ozzy, No More Tears, I agree with Connor on that one. But I think, obviously, you got the classics with Blizzard and Diary and all that kind of stuff too. You can't go wrong with those ones. Ultimate Sin's pretty fucking special too. Moon, you got all these ones here. But, No More Tears is probably a more personal favorite of mine. But then I think my go-to for Ozzy's solo career was probably actually Down to Earth.
Good album.
It's a later one, but that was one of those ones where I'd obviously discovered, Ozzy and Sabbath at this point in time when that came out. And I think it was me and one other person that I knew in my entire world was listening to that album. So it became, even though it was a household name, it became a special because no one had it. I was the first person I knew to buy it and all that kind of stuff. It was, even though it was a big artist, it was like no one was talking about this album. And for me, it's been one of those ones that's been constantly on repeat all the years and years and years, decades now on. And I think it's fantastic. And even tracks like the closing one, Can You Hear Them? That riff that Zach put down is the one that Tony would have killed for as well. Like they channeled something really special on that album for me, and just remember the video clip for Gets Me Through coming out as well. And there's a whole plethora of fantastic songs across that album. So that'll be my personal go-to as well. But that said, the second last solo, Ordinary Man, that's a special one too. I think people should check that out if they haven't slept. If they've slept on the last couple of albums, page number 9, Ordinary Man, go and give those a spin as well. I'll go to comments here quickly. Michael said, I thought Aussie 99, but online saying was 98. I know someone saying 97. I don't know what's going on, man. Everyone's going to be confused, but as long as we're celebrating, it doesn't matter anyway. Nadia said, my Aussie experience was when I extended WWE WrestleMania here on the USA, April 86. Wow, that's cool. We have a guest. Cool. I'll get to you in a moment. I'll bring someone in just a second. This is fantastic. Thank you for jumping in. Vinny says, Osmosis is an underrated gem. So many gems and easy listening to. There we go. Michael says, I was watching the WrestleMania Aussie appearance today. Nadia, that's awesome. There we go. Some people are getting back and forth on that one there. Yep. Ula says, I had technical ecstasy on a bootleg tape that I bought in Malaysia when I was a kid. I wish I still had it, if only for the lyric sheet that came with it. Fuck, that's phenomenal. What we got here? Nadia said, yes, it was. Later in 2022, Ozzy also was in WWE War Games. Match promo was friggin' fabulous. Google it and check it out too. I'm sure we'll all go and check out a lot of these memories that people haven't individually found. There's a lot to catch up on here. Ula said they were clearly written out by a non-native English speaker sitting down and listening to it. Very few lyrics were actually correct and very funny. That'd be cool, Ula. If you'd have had that, that'd be one of those things you want a photo of. Vinny says, this never gets discussed. However, Ozzy's craft on a PlayStation 3 game, Brutal Legend, which Jack Black, the main character, bloody legendary. How things come full circle with Jack's tribute. That's true, but also I think, don't forget too, that Ozzy was also able to keep himself remarkably contemporary across a number of ways, including working with different artists over the years too. And Johnny says, heard Blizzard in primary school, I was hooked, and there we go from that. But I'm going to bring a special guest in now. Hope you're ready for this, because Chris, I'm dragging you into the show. How are you going? Thanks for joining us.
Good, thanks. Sorry about the phones and I was just going to tell you a story about about Metal Brotherhood and how it allowed me to go see the original Black Sabbath live in 1999. Yeah. So back in the day, this was like the Last Supper tour, and they were touring all around, and then supposedly their farewell shows at Birmingham at the end of 99. But so I managed to see them in Helsinki, Finland. Wow. And Metal Brotherhood, like, I didn't know anyone in Helsinki, Finland 25 years ago. You just kind of emailed people and hoped for the best. Yeah. And I'll pay you back. And so it was this very interesting conversation. Someone who didn't speak much Finnish and someone didn't speak much English. But basically, I sort of said, hey, this is a concert called Black Sabbath. I'm going to be in Helsinki. I was going to meet him as well in his part of Finland. Can you get me a ticket? He said, so he comes back to me and says, it's quite a popular show. There's only a few seats around the back, around the side of the, they're just the cheap tickets. Like, I don't care. Get it. I'll pay you back for sure. I am coming. Look, here's my ticket. And so, it was best show I ever saw. And, it's like, and the support acts are pretty good too. As we get with 1999, Black Sabbath. Then before they were married, Drain South, or Drain STH from Stockholm, and Godsmack.
Wow.
Support acts.
Godsmack are fantastic live. Yeah.
Drain, I don't know why Drain split up so soon afterwards. Maybe being women, they didn't get very far, but Godsmack went on for many, many years. And, But so shout out to my friend in Finland who got me a ticket to see Black Sabbath, and that's like the one thing I can hold over most people is that I've seen the original 4 members of Black Sabbath live, because you didn't see that in in Australia last time or the time before that, because Bill Ward wasn't playing at that stage.
That's fantastic.
Oh, by the way, Conrad, hi, welcome back. Good to see you. Don't see you much these days. We saw you 3 weeks ago, but before that we hadn't seen you too much this year.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to come back in a little bit more now. That'd be nice if I could make it a bit more now. I've had a lot of gigs on though. In the last month I've done.
You're seeing.
Seeing in the last month I had Joe Satriani with Vi, and then I had Sabotage the following night.
Wow.
Then the night after that was Jerry Cantrell. Then the night after that was 9 Inch Nails. And then the week after that was
Can you still hear anything?
It was Billy Idol. The week after that was Billy Idol, Guns N' Roses, and Iron Maiden. And then
kick you on principle, man. This is fucked.
Then the week after that was the Birmingham Back to the Beginning show.
Wow.
And tonight I have Leader, and tomorrow night I've got Priest with Alice Cooper. So hence I haven't been on much. I've been doing a lot of gigs.
No shit.
Is Alice Cooper subbing in for Rob Halford, or is he the support actor?
He's the support. Alice Cooper's supporting. Alice Cooper's supporting
that happening in
Priest.
Australia by a Motley Crue.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that happened out there. Yeah, but no, it's going to be Alice supporting Priest, but it'll be a good show.
That makes sense, really. It does.
And Alice has been doing that for a while. He's been the support act for a while.
And I don't doubt these are going to be quite special shows as well with what's just happened as well. They're probably going to do something. I don't doubt. So it'll
everyone's going to, for the next little bit, everyone will be adding something special to the show as a bit of a mark. The amount of good.
Because Rob did sub in for.
And I'm off to a festival. I'm off to a festival in the weekend as well. So and then Bloodstock after that, and a couple of other festivals.
So on and so forth.
He did sub in for Roddy James Dio one time too, Rob Halford. So
Wow.
What was it during the Dehumanizer tour?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That would have been awesome.
Something.
Yeah, in the early '90s when everyone was getting into grunge, and suddenly Black Sabbath put out TB Crimes and a few other songs that people actually knew. Lost contact.
I don't know what happened. He was walking around with his phone. Probably something's overheating. Vinny said Thor can only be in two places at once. Yeah, well, that's it. But also saying, I'm not buying Conrad's lifestyle. He lives in an exclusive estate where he's popping over to borrow condiments from these rock legends. Fucking hell. That'd be an interesting story in itself. Chris, while you're here, let us know, what are your favorite Sabbath and Ozzy solo albums? What are the ones that come to mind?
So Master of Reality is the one I always say, if you're gonna give a present to someone who's like metal curious, Master of Reality is just perfect from start to finish. Nice. Paranoid has the singles, but for me, Master of Reality is the best overall album.
Yep.
I was just going to mention, everyone's bringing up obscure things that Ozzy appeared on. Moulin Rouge, he does the evil laugh.
Oh, really?
In the Absinthe, when he does the. I don't know how Baz Luhrmann arranged that, but
wow.
No.
Yeah, he does the evil laugh when Kylie Minogue turns into the evil fairy or whatever it is.
Okay. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
I'd almost be tempted to go back and watch that storm of a thing if I could be bothered.
Because you go through the credits about all the different songs they would have to get clearance for, from everything from Kiss to
Well, I was shocked at that Back to the Beginning show when they had the guests that weren't there, the ones that weren't there that were ringing in, the ones that were on the screen, obviously pre-recorded. And they put them up on the screen with a message, and just the people, the different type from different sort of musical genres that were giving him salutes. You had Billy Idol, you had Elton John, you had Dolly Parton.
Did they get Paul McCartney, because he was a big Beatles fan back in the day?
I don't know if they got McCartney, but they had quite a few people that were outside of the sort of the metal realm, and just giving it Ricky Gervais, Elton John, there was Dolly Parton, there was quite a few of these people who were giving him respect, and it was great to see. Really cool to see.
I was hopeful they could bring back Sepultura to do Symptom of the Universe. That was on Nativity in Black, but
that was fantastic.
You think if they would ever get back together, it would be for that. Maybe that's a little too out there for people.
That's a great album, Nativity in Black. Such a good album.
Well, you had Megadeth had covered Paranoid, and they also covered Never Say Die as well. So, but they weren't invited, which I understand. Really, might have been a bit awkward. Might have been a bit awkward backstage. You had Metallica there and David Ellefson.
Maybe
they could do without the drama. Could do without the drama. Yeah.
So, Chris, did you watch the show in the live stream?
I only saw the bits that people could put on YouTube before they got taken down by YouTube. So I saw the full Tool. I saw the full Slayer.
That was awesome.
I saw bits of Metallica, but I saw the concert movie, so I was like, well, I'll go see the bits that I definitely wouldn't be able to see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Tool were phenomenal. Two were phenomenal.
Yes,
Metallica.
I was surprised how well Hand of Doom kind of fit into their,
Yeah.
Two were really good. Alice in Chains were phenomenal. Metallica played like
Oh,
I've never seen Metallica play. That was so intense.
Hailstorm.
Really intense.
Sorry, Chris?
Hailstorm.
Hailstorm.
Love Bite, so do I.
Oh wow,
Very
they did
good.
that song. That'd be fucking
Yeah, they
great.
opened with that. So that's
fuck.
Very good.
Went old school on that one. That's cool.
Yeah, not
They
Judas
did-
Priest,
she
Love
did,
Bite, so own. Love
yeah,
Bite,
I
so
know,
own from
I know.
the first album.
She did a version. Hailstorm covered Perry Mason. I was
Yeah.
like, it was fucking unreal.
That was
cool.
good. Yeah, that was unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was great.
But to go back to Andrew's original question, probably I don't think you can go past Blizzard of Oz. And again, it's just, I mean, you know, there's that. There's also the whole, you know, hey, Randy Rhoads died 40 years ago. You know, it'd almost be a question of like, if they can bring back Ronnie James Dio, could they do that with Randy Rhoads? with the what's it called? The
Hologram.
Hologram. Yeah.
I'm not sure we got enough
Randy
footage.
Rhoads playing with it. That would be
Yeah, that's the problem. Is the footage. They don't have much.
Yeah, we don't have much, unfortunately.
But AI could probably do it.
Possibly, yeah. You'd be able to. They'd be able to. Nowadays, you probably extrapolate something, but I'm not sure. I think honestly, I'd rather them spend the effort on whatever archive footage they do have.
They could probably do like an animated thing, which would be kind of cool.
Well,
I don't know if I'd pay to see that, but you could probably do it.
Yeah. But they can do cool things because, for example, one of my favorite songs from Ozzy and Motorhead that's crossover is the Hellraiser track, and they did a cool sort of duet thing a few years ago where they just mixed the two versions together and put an animated video together.
Oh, wow.
Really cool.
It
was only like 3 years ago, I think now. It was fucking fantastic.
Wow.
They did an animated video and then they spliced in Lemmy's vocals with Ozzy's vocals.
Was it an official release?
Yeah.
Or was it just, that was an official release? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
Under Ozzy Osbourne. Oh,
wow.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's Lemmy's song. He wrote that song.
He wrote it, yeah.
And it's on a Motorhead record.
Yeah, it's also on the movie soundtrack too. But it's also on the
on one of Ozzy's Resi records as well. And there's not really any difference. There's no difference in the
it's on No More Tears.
Song.
Yeah. Oh, the production values are different, obviously, but I love the video clip for the Motorhead's version anyway. But there are things like that go along too. But while we've got you here, Chris, what about some favorite songs? Forget the albums. What are some songs that have sort of stayed with you and hooked you for the duration?
Children of the Grave, the triplet intro. You can't go past that.
Yeah, good song.
Yep, absolutely. It's one of my favorite songs.
Anything with a tritone, so Symptom of the Universe, the title song Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
It just wasn't done before then. So,
well, the thing was, I mean,
the soundtrack does, but yeah.
When Sabbath first came along, you have to understand the time when they came along. I mean, you had bands singing about wearing flowers in your hair from San Francisco and all of this whole hippie sunshine and rainbows, and it was all very lovely and nice, but they couldn't possibly relate to that coming from industrial bands. It's grim.
That's exactly
fucking grim. It was grim. It was really grim. It still is grim, I can assure you. I went to Aston. I was up there. I was at the show, and I'd shit you not, the surroundings. It's a fucking grim place. It really is. It is depressing. It's depressing. It's fucking.
It was back to the beginning.
Yeah, so I wouldn't. I can imagine back then it would have been really grim, and so they wrote. It was a rebellion against that whole thing to a degree and a point, but also it came from their surroundings, and their surroundings were pretty fucking depressive. Yeah. So I guess that's why they sort of wrote that kind of organic.
Exactly right, and that's where Priest got their inspiration as well.
That's
so
it.
The same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Grim and dark.
Certainly, they couldn't possibly relate to the kids in San Francisco wearing flowers in their hair.
I saw that. There was a thing where Ozzy said it was like if someone had asked Ozzy, "Hey, do you fancy a trip to Mars?" He said, he's like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, couldn't do it.
Yeah, they couldn't relate to that at all. So they, hence Sabbath. It was born. And they had that dark sound, and but it's still fucking grim up there. Put it this way. If it wasn't for that fucking concert, I would avoid at all costs. Yeah. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
So not even getting the Commonwealth Games has changed it?
No, Birmingham's a really grim. Birmingham's a grim city. It really is. But Aston, in particular, is fucking grim. It's still just factories. It's all factories.
All they have really there
is Metal Headbangers Journey, Tony.
It's all factories, and it's rough. It's fucking rough. It really is. Yeah, it's run down. It's rough. It's fucking grim. So, no, don't go there as a tourist going, I want to see where Sabbath came from, because you'd be walking around
dead.
You'd be pretty depressed.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see that bench that they've got in Birmingham.
That'd be
the Black Sabbath Bridge and the
I didn't get time. I didn't get time to do it. I wanted to do all that and stay an extra day, but I didn't have time to do all that. I had to get on I had no way of getting back to London at all. That's the problem. The trains finish at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, the trains are finished. So you're fucked. You're just stranded in Birmingham. And I was like, fuck this. What am I going to do? And ended up getting a coach back to London, which cost me £40, which is a lot for a coach.
It's fucking Canadian taxi odyssey. I'll tell you that.
It's a lot for a coach over here. It's a lot of money.
I saw.
Yeah.
Sir, go ahead. I was just going to say, I saw an interview. I've seen a couple interviews now with Gene Simmons.
Wow.
And he made a really good, interesting point. He was talking, they had him on Piers Morgan, and they had him on a couple of shows. And what he said was something that actually struck a chord with me, because I was like, he's spot on. He said, if you go back to when Ozzy started in Sabbath in 68, right? And basically when they're putting everything together, Earth and the Polka Talk Blue band and all that stuff. And he said Ozzy was, crafting his craft. And, he was sort of, as they all were. And then, of course, Sabbath, and then, Ozzy's solo stuff. And he said, you can look at Ozzy and you can go, well, he was completely unique, because you can look at other artists and other singers and other performers. And if you look at them, you can go, well, I can see a little bit of this guy in here, a little bit of that guy in there, a little bit. Well, Ozzy, Simmons said, was a singularity, because that Ozzy didn't, he's not copying anybody. He's completely original. So before Ozzy, there was no Ozzy. And there was nobody that he could have copied it from. He created this persona. And to me, that puts him above everybody.
I think
because
also
everyone's learning from somebody. Everyone's getting their craft from somewhere. While he loved the Beatles, you can't look at Ozzy and go, I can see the Beatles in there. Yeah. You can't hear it and you can't see it. So,
I think as a follow-on from that, I don't think anyone's gone close to replicating Ozzy either since. He's one of one in a really interesting place in musical history, I think, for all time. But Chris, we'll let you go in a second, but is there anything else, your favorite memories or anything else you want to share with us just while you're here? Because the first time, I'm not sure we'll get you back again, but while you're here, may as well just sort of milk it. But is there anything else you'd like to say about Ozzy, what he means to you, or what this whole thing?
Well, it's just the story of how I turned to the, I wouldn't say turn to the dark side physically, but in terms of the music side, it's like it started with Faith No More. And Faith No More's Real Thing had a cover of War Pigs on it.
Yes, it did.
And I was like, that's cool. And I was like, why aren't the lyrics in there? Oh, it's written by, these other people. It's like, who are they? Oh, Black Sabbath. So then you go, have a look, and back then, you have to buy CDs. So I got Paranoid. Paranoid had, War Pigs and Paranoid and Fairies Wear Boots and Electric Funeral and Hand of Doom. And that's where it's Ozzy. It started with Faith No More, then went to Black Sabbath, and then it just all ballooned from there. And, I can say that, if we ever do, by the way, I'm the guy who keeps on hassling Andrew about when are we going to do the album that inspired you to pick up an instrument.
Okay, right. Now I could have faced your name. Nice, okay.
Right, cool.
I picked up a guitar for the first time in 1987, but, and that was so I'm talking Noiseworks, self-titled and things like that. But but that's where I started getting into the distortion pedal.
Yeah.
And I was like, why can't I play along? Oh, because they've tuned it down.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to do that? So then I heard the story about Tony Iommi's fingers, and I was like, wow, I'm left-handed, but no one had heard of Tony Iommi. No one knew Tony Iommi in 1987, or no one heard of Kurt Cobain in 1987, because I play right-handed, but even though I'm left-handed, because I didn't know that was a thing.
Wow.
I thought
you're
it was
left-handed
like
and you play right-handed?
You only play one way.
That's remarkable.
I'm left-handed and I play left-handed. I can't fucking play right-handed to save my life. I can't. Fuck that. No
That's
way.
remarkable. Wow, that's like credit to you. That's dedication, man. Because that would have felt awkward as fuck to begin with.
Yeah, well, if you just get it that way to start with, it's easier, I suppose. But Dick Dale solved the problem by playing the guitar upside down, and Jimi Hendrix didn't have a left-handed guitar; he just restrung it.
I restrung a lefty. I had a guitar when I was younger. My dad bought me one, and I was showing an interest in. Yeah, I had to have it restrung because I'm a lefty, so it was a right-handed guitar restrung, basically.
Yeah.
And I was
with the electric guitar, you have to recut the nut and stuff because the saddles for the high and low are the right size, so it's not it's a bit more complicated.
It is a little bit more complicated, but you can do it. There's only one guitar player that I know that is left-handed but plays guitar right-handed, and if you hear his music, you'd never know it. And that's the guitar player from Triumph.
Okay.
Okay. So left-handed guy, does everything left-handed, plays guitar right-handed. Learned it that way, like Chris was saying. Yep.
I'm going to quickly go through some comments while we've got Chris here, because this one's pertinent, because Guru over in Denmark has said Dave got a haircut. Had to put that in there. That's good. Ula has asked the question, how are rival sons? We'll put a pin in that for a second, because Joshua Batten, friend of the show, good to see you, man. Hopefully you're keeping well.
Josh.
Has gone. If not for Ozzy, we would never have gotten rival sons in Australia. So there we go. There's more rival sons commentary there. Vinny says, would have been plenty of Larry drivers happy to give a hot blonde a lift back to London on the cheap Conrad. Sorry, lorry drivers. Lorry, not Larry. Base Cat, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Thank you, Ozzy. And that's the whole point of tonight's show. For jumping in and saying that. BP, good to see you for a first time in a while too. Rest easy, Oz. Likewise. Rowan says, I don't know. I think Ringo has a bit of that Prince of Darkness in him. Well, that's possible as well. All right, we're going to start to wrap up. But Chris, is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, it's all good. I enjoy watching, love your work, and I'll stay in touch in other ways in the future.
Yes, please.
And your idea, that's something I'd like to look at. That's pretty cool.
No, we'll get back again. We'll start playing. We got a lot of things coming up. But no, thank you for everything you've done behind the scenes and getting involved and being involved in the conversation. And your idea about, the album inspired you to pick up a guitar. We'll play with these things.
Or an instrument. Doesn't have to be guitar.
Instruments, I should say, yes. You're right. For me, it was guitar, so that's where my mind defaulted. But we'll go with that as a theory. But I just want to say a big thank you for coming in tonight. It's not usually the most comfortable thing to sort of go in cold, and you jumped in and done well. So thank you very much for that. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, it's an easy story to tell because it's like you don't get to tell it very often, so you just remember these things.
Well, I'm glad we got a chance to do that. So I want to say thank you again for jumping in and for sharing with us.
Rock on, brother.
I don't actually know how to leave, so feel free to kick me out.
I'll work that out for you. I'll kick you, but it's not with mean intent. It's just that to get out of you, so I'll work it out for you. But no, thank you so much for jumping in. It's been great to actually put a face to name and good to meet you in this context.
I think I appeared briefly at the 10th anniversary show. But, put in 2 requests. One for Jimmy's Fantasy by Red Cross, and one for Dennis, which was when I first got interested 10 years ago when he played Master Exploder by Tenacious D.
Fuck! Wow. There's some memories in that.
Yeah. I should have requested Thundersteel or something, but
that would have kind of
I was like, no, that's a Jimmy song, and that's a Dennis song. So
no, you've done well.
And now, of course, there's the Jack Black cover of Mr. Crowley, which is killer too.
Yes, it is. That's
they played that at the
Yeah,
it was on the screens. It was on the screens. So
yeah,
they showed that. It was like, as I said, they had like these guests, like, you know, celeb rock stars coming in and dialing in and saying, you know, nice words and things. And that was a clip that was put up in the show. It was done for it. It was done for it.
Yes, it was. Yeah, of course it was.
Because it's like Tom Morello started all this kind of stuff, playing guitar and.
But those kids on guitar were I don't know who they were. Tom Morello's
Tom's son.
And Ian from Anthrax.
Scott Ian,
right? And it was actually Randy's guitar too.
Oh,
it was actually Randy's guitar.
Wow,
that was It was actually Randy's guitar. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if it was, but it was one that looked the same. Might be the one.
I doubt
it was the one.
Actual guitar, but it was definitely designed to be the Flying V.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the one, but probably a copy.
Because there's a company called Fernandez. If you look on Facebook, I'm actually holding one with Dennis.
Wow.
Right.
And that's a Fernandez. The company Fernandez, they got permission from Osbourne, from Dolores Rhodes. Early on, they went in and they took all 1,000 photographs of the original guitar. She wouldn't let them have it, but they took all these photographs of it, measured it the whole bit, and then they've made copies. Yeah. And those copies are now worth a fucking fortune.
Yeah, of course.
Probably like Frankenstein guitars and stuff.
That's it.
Yeah. So.
Gonna jump in here because Vinny has an answer for you, Chris. He's gone, Slayer inspired me to pick up the triangle. So there you go. That's one here, Chris, from Vinny.
Yeah, I once tried to play the start of Seasons in the Abyss on an accordion. That was,
on the accordion.
I was in Switzerland. I was like, hey, that's.
Oh, please tell me there's something recorded of that. That'd be fucking fantastic. Oh my god.
I do have a photo of me getting a piano accordion lesson, but that was just a photo.
That'd be like Weird Al doing a Slayer song. That'd be fucking fantastic, actually. I wouldn't mind that.
Oh yeah.
That'd be great. Look, I'm gonna I just want to say thank you again, Chris. I'll let you get out of here. But thank you so much for jumping in. It was we got a guest, so I'm grateful we got one. So thank you so much for that. Oh God, here we go. Michael's gone. Leader inspired me to take up pink oboe.
That's a Vinny remark.
Channeling Vinny there, Michael. Off we go. But no, just want to get that in there as well. But a big thank you, Chris. Thank you. And because we've been talking about Embrace the Chaos episodes, we'll probably put that conversation point that you've got about albums that inspired you to pick up an instrument. We'll probably make that a topic of discussion at that point in time as well. But thank you for your support and for jumping in and for all the interaction, for being with us for so fucking long too. Wow. Blows my mind that people fucking hang around with us for that bloody long, but I do appreciate that, the time and that people still enjoy what we do so many years on. So thank you so much for everything, and it's been great to, like I said, put a face to a name and to have you jump in and join us here tonight. So thank you very, very much.
There were a lot more. There was like 9 at a time or something in the 10th anniversary show. I remember.
Yeah, there was a lot there for that one. Fuck, that was great. All right, I'll get you out of here. I'll kick you, but not meanly. I'll just kick you so you can work it out for yourself. But thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you for jumping in. Really good to see you and to
rock on, brother. Rock on.
Okay. All right.
Cool. All right, mate. I'll get you out of here. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There we go. This one. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. Kick from studio. There we go. Bye-bye.
You're back.
Wanted to be kicked. He's kicked. All right, let's get our favorite songs in here. Let's go. Let's just do the normal here. Jeff, your favorite songs from the great man?
Well, The Writ, as I said, from Sabbath. Love that song. And my favorite Ozzy song, solo, that's such a tough one because there's just so much great stuff. I'm gonna go. Believe me, I'm gonna pick an unusual one. I'm gonna pick "Center of Eternity" off of Bark of the Moon.
Nice one. That's a cool one. Alrighty, Conrad, some favorite songs.
Oh, shit. Symptom of Children of the Grave.
Yeah.
Children of the Grave, definitely a Sabbath song. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, the song. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Children of the Grave. Ooh, yeah, and as far as Ozzy, I mean, there's so many. It's hard. That's a tough one.
It is.
It is, yeah. I'm going to go with something that I think is underrated and doesn't get enough love, and that's Perry Mason. Perry Mason doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, I love
Perry
that
Mason
song.
just doesn't get enough love, and I think it's a killer track. Yeah, so that's why. That's why. So yeah, Perry Mason.
No,
Definitely.
I agree. Oh, man, I've got so many. It's hard to choose. Like for me, on the Sabbath front, Fairies Wear Boots is up there because that was when I started digging back into Sabbath. That was the song I was like, oh fuck, what is this? And that was just awesome. The same token, things like Children of the Grave. That's one of my favorite riffs of all time. I love that song. I love the delivery from Ozzy in particular on that one, which is great.
I have to ask about that song because you can tell me about this or not, and I'm not sure because is it the clunk of his bass or is it the toms that I'm hearing that ding 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 ding? Is it the, because there's parts in it where you can hear the toms going and then you're hearing the bass, but is it the clunk of the bass or is it the tom?
I believe it is the clunk of the bass. I believe it's
the clunk of the bass because I don't know if it's the toms going.
There are toms there going. He's going.
Yeah.
He's doing toms as well.
Yeah.
But
when you hear those runs, you can hear the runs of him doing the toms, but you can also the clunk of the bass sometimes. I'm like, I can't tell the difference between the two, which is great. That's clunk, a fantastic thing. Yeah.
Ooh. I'm actually I could be very wrong, but just listening, I'm actually thinking toms.
Yeah, I don't know if it's toms or the clunk of the bass. It's tough.
The trouble is the toms and the bass, the syncopation is so fucking
That's right. It's so good. It's so good. Maybe it's just the both of them together. Maybe it's the both of them together. That's what makes it.
Maybe that's just the way they mixed it.
It's not one or the other. It's the both of them playing that together.
Resonance possibly to it. There could be anything. But just that.
It's a question, Andrew. I know you like Fairies Wear Boots.
Yeah.
You know what the song's about?
Tripping acid.
It's about skinheads. Skinheads wear, they used to wear the boots and stuff, and that movement was coming. It was a growing movement.
Yep.
Prior to like the punk stuff, there was like a lot of skinheads and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, and it was all about that they didn't like them. They did not like them.
Yeah, no, that's where that. I've always been that's where things like War Pigs are cool for me. Like that whole album is more political in some respects than you might believe when you dig into the lyrical content.
Yeah.
But also I want to give a shout out to
people actually go to that mill, that plate, that thing on the cover.
Oh yeah, the first album.
People go there. People go there and get photos. People go and get pictures. Yeah. Wow. It's like it's near Reading. It's out near Reading. It's a bit of a trek. It'd take me probably a couple of hours to get there, but it's doable. It's doable. But yeah, you can go get pictures. You can go get pictures there. I think I will. I think I might just go get a picture with it.
Why not, man? It's something you'll have forever. It's great.
Absolutely, yeah. Agreed.
My final Sabbath song, I'm going to shout out to Hard Road. I think it's a great song there. For me, it's been a personal favorite for many, many years because just I love the it's a lot more quote unquote 70s in its feel and its vibe, and just I think the words of that haven't gotten tired either. When it comes to solo Ozzy, I'm going to go with tracks like, I mean, it's easy to do now, but Mama I'm Coming Home has always been a great song regardless of the context of how things are today. Perry Mason I think is fantastic. Can You Hear Them and Get Me Through from Down to Earth are both fantastic too. But also a later song, everyone knows the hits, but the from the second last album, the actual title track, Ordinary Man. If you listen to the latest done with Elton John, and that segues into, I want to give a special shout out to the duets he's done over the years, like Elton John on that song there, but you got, Close My Eyes Forever with Leader, which, Conrad's off to say tonight.
And Lemmy, Leader and Lemmy, both the three of them.
But also Ironhead with Rob Zombie, and other things he'd be like with Post Malone and stuff too. He managed to keep those duets were always a way for him to keep growing and expanding and all that kind of stuff as well. But obviously we know the big hits from Ozzy's solo career, but just want to give a shout out to things like Gets Me Through, Can You Hear Them, Mama I'm Coming Home, and Ordinary Man. Those are ones that I think in this point in time for me still either do now or always have resonated a bit more than before.
He was right. He did not die an ordinary man.
No, and he got what he wanted in that regard, and he'll go down as one of the all-time, if not the all-time, great. I mean, there are a lot of artists we love, but it's hard to deny the influence of this man on music and what will continue to be.
Yeah. Someone said, like, like when you compare bands, like, like the Beatles, how influential they were. There was no question they were. But as far as I think Sabbath might be more influential than the Beatles because they actually created an entire genre.
Yeah.
They created a genre that is absolutely massive. Now, the Beatles, they inspired a lot of people to play all types of different music. They didn't create another genre.
Yeah.
Sabbath did. And that's why I put them above the Beatles in that respect.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But yeah.
And Ozzy is one of four, and in his impact, one of one. This, I'm going to put a pin for just a second here because I'm going to get some comments before I ask this final question before we get eaten tonight.
Sorry, guys. If my phone dies, it's overheated and shut itself, so that would be me out if it does. Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, before I do that, then before your phone dies, Conrad, what do you think Ozzy's legacy will end up being? Before we get out of here, just get that from you. Jeff, think about it.
Such a big question.
I know, but I think it's something.
Started with that one. Yeah.
Should have, would have, but yeah.
That's okay.
I guess he's going to be like an iconic figure in metal, in rock history, but he'll be like the sort of the godfather, so to speak, of heavy metal. He'll be seen as the godfather. He'll be seen as the figurehead, the face of it. He'll be seen. You think of heavy metal, he'll be seen as the face of it, definitely. The man that started. I mean, I think credit Iommi more with that, but he'll be the face of it. If you're going to put a face to it, then it's going to be Ozzy as the face of it, so type of thing. Yeah, that's what I would appreciate.
All right.
Yeah,
I wanted to get that from you before
and also rock and roll, just rock and roll, I won't say debauchery because he wasn't really so much into the debauchery, but the excessiveness, the excessiveness.
That's true. Yeah.
The excessiveness of the drugs and the booze. I mean, my God.
Would Motley Crue have been Motley Crue without Ozzy? I don't know that there would have been. So you think about how far it goes.
Both of those bands ended up after that tour. After that tour, they ended up.
Right.
Sells some, doesn't it? But I wanted to get that thought from you before we. I'll get some comments and then Jeff and I will finish up things here. In case your phone dies there. What we got here? Jolie said before, I love Road to Nowhere. I hear cowbells. I could be wrong. I've got to go back and listen to that one to do. You're probably right though, actually. Vinny says, No More Tears, Perry Mason for me, which is cool. The Righteous Dude, good to see you, man. My favorite solo Aussie song, Revelation from Mother Earth. Nicely done.
Great song, yeah.
BP says, Thrill of It All from Sabotage, nicely done. And Righteous Dude said, also, as of his later stuff, I enjoyed Facing Hell from Down to Earth.
Facing Hell.
Great song. Simple but killer. Michael said, Killing Yourself to Live, Children of the Grave, The Writ, and Solo, Revelation, Mother Earth, Steal Away the Night, and Diary of a Madman, No More Tears, but really so many others as well. And that's the thing. You could pick a song for all occasions, honestly. Righteous Dude followed up with saying, Ozzy said he wanted to die like a Viking, sailing out and listening to the Beatles. I wonder if he did. I reckon he probably did, to be honest. I think he would be one of the rare few that got his way and deservedly so. Vinny changes with Kelly Gets in the Fields. I listened to that today, and it's so different now, especially when you're a parent, listening to that song in the context of everything going on. With us having our first grandchild and that too, like the whole going through changes is very real. And so that's a song that does hit home, especially at the moment. Michael said, got to mention Fire in the Sky. That's a great song. Vinny says, Gods of Rock and Roll, which was released recently, is a beautiful piece. Yes, through as well. And Mick, good to see you. Another newer face here. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Rest in peace. Prayers go out to family members now. And what his song said, is he coming home? We lost one of the best. Yes, I think he has gone home. We did lose one of the greats. I did put Conrad on the spot with a question, but Jeff, we'll do this legacy piece. What do you think will be his legacy?
I think when it's all said and done, I think Ozzy will be remembered as an originator. He originated something. He created something out of whole cloth that didn't exist prior to him being born. He was made to sing and play music and to be what he did. I can't imagine, when he was working in the factory, when he was working in the slaughterhouse, that he was ever going to amount to anything in that. He wouldn't have. So he dreamt that he wanted to be a Beatle, and he found a way of doing it. And in his own way of making music. So he'll be remembered for that. I wouldn't be surprised as well if we don't see coming out of England something as well. Maybe a commemorative coin with his face or something on it. That would be awesome. And if it is, I'll be getting one. I'll tell you what. He'll be remembered.
Well, they've got. I mean, Nico McBrain is on stamps over here. We got Nico McBrain on stamps. So I've got one actually. I've got a Nico McBrain stamp. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up on stamps. So there you go, at least.
He will. And if he does, Conrad, you got to get some. Send them out to us.
Yeah, send them out.
Of course. You'll have it when it arrives in the envelope. It'll be on the.
On the outside of the envelope. Yeah.
Be the one on the envelope. You'll be like,
You're gonna pay to post this postage payment. There you go.
I'll send you the money, man. You send the stamp when it happens. Look, he just will be an originator. Like I said, he created something that didn't exist prior to him coming along, and for that, and the music that he left us, the legacy, he's never going to die. That music will outlive all of us.
I think what's important to remember there as well, and it's an inspiration to people, is that somebody that came from poverty, like real poverty, right? Real poverty. Yeah, he was poor. They were poor, man. They were really, but they were like sleeping in one bed. They were really poor, and so he came from nothing. He really did come from nothing. So he didn't come from a privileged background or anything like that.
Didn't.
Not at all.
He was a burglar. He was a thief. He was the worst thief ever because he had gloves and he cut the fingers off so he could get better grip. He left his fingerprints all over everything.
So there's someone to come from. So there's inspiration. Yeah. What I'm saying is it's inspiring. His story is inspiring to those that you don't have to. There is hope. There's hope to come from absolutely the bottom run in society and be poor and make it. You can make it, with a dream and a vision, and you can do it. He didn't have an education. He was not particularly well educated at all. He suffered from dyslexia, if I'm not wrong. He was dyslexic.
Right.
Yeah. So he struggled at school really, really badly. So I mean, there is hope for people in this world. I think, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I think on that note too, I think it's also, in some respects, a little bit of a story of redemption. He definitely went off the rails and did some, we've discussed briefly, some pretty non good things, to do some double speak there. But the way I've referenced the later albums because for me, you got to look into his personality as an individual, as a dad, as a grandfather in those later albums, particularly Ordinary Man, more so than the other works he's done over the years, for me personally. And to be able to have that redemption arc where maybe he wasn't the greatest father or husband and that sort of stuff, but he was able to be a really good grandfather at the end of the day, and doing those sorts of things for himself and having those moments of pride and love, and how he was able to come full circle and take happiness out of the simpler things, the people around him, those sorts of things in life. Even though his desires were falling apart around him because he couldn't get back on stage and that kind of stuff, he was still able to find happiness in those moments with those you love and keep closest to you. So I think there's a redemption, not only a come from nothing story, but also you can come from nothing, not quote unquote lose at all, but you can go to the bottom again and then still climb the rungs again. Like that single-minded bloody focus can take you places if you are committed to the cause. I think musically, in legacy terms, I think it's unquantifiable. I think he's one of one. I think that in the context of Black Sabbath, he's one of four, and you can't tell the story of Black Sabbath without Ozzy Osbourne. But I don't think you can tell music's history without Ozzy Osbourne either anymore. I think that whatever point in time and reference you want to go to, I think that for now and for all time, Ozzy's fingerprints and influence not only in the catalog of music that he released in bands or as solo, but also the way he platformed other artists and bands around him. Think about how different, if it wasn't for him, for Ozfest, for Sharon, for the people around him, if it wasn't for this, we call it Ozzy Osbourne, but it's a nexus. If you think about all the things that came through that portal and spread out in a family tree, if you were to do a family tree of all the things that he's had a touch on,
giving bands an opportunity, giving support act. Motley Crue, Metallica, Motley Crue.
Alice in Chains are touring before their debut album, I think, with Black Sabbath from memory. So it's the impact. We say one man, but it's also the nexus around one man. There's always a team and people around it. But because of him, we wouldn't have these things any other way. And so I don't think you can tell. I don't think it's just about metal anymore. I don't think you can tell the history of music and the human race without covering or having an entire chapter dedicated to the great Ozzy Osbourne. I think that his mark is one of those rare few that will live on for, as far as we're concerned, eternity. I don't know how else you could have, as long as the human race is making music, Ozzy Osbourne has a finger in that. I think that's where we are.
And we were lucky enough to be alive in that era, which is amazing.
We were. And no matter how early or late you were to the piece, to be part of it is to be something special. And we have all experienced something now that generations to come after us will never, ever know. So for that,
they'll read about it, but they won't live it.
They won't live it. And for that, I, for one, as a fan of music first and foremost, and a fan of the arts, I'm eternally grateful. I couldn't say. I know that the title of the show tonight is "Thank You, Ozzy," and I couldn't thank Ozzy enough for everything that we've been given through his bloody-minded focus that I mentioned before. Like just that dedication to pursuing the dream and showing what can be done. And I will always take inspiration from people like that. And he is, like I said, one of those people. Going to throw some comments here. What have we got here? So Michael said he was the ultimate anti-hero in the 70s and 80s and then became the huge icon. That's true. BP says consistently a top bloke over 50 years, genuine and honest. I think the honesty, you can't deny the honesty. He was always that one there. Aaron at Lawson, thank you for jumping in. He's gone, we will miss you, Ozzy. We will still can't believe it. I don't think anyone really can, to be honest. We did not know he was that sick. I think people knew he was sick. I don't think people knew that he was that close. But at the same time, I don't think it was. While it was sad to get the news, I can't sit here and genuinely say that I was stunned, if that makes sense. I was.
No, it didn't come from out of nowhere.
Yeah,
no. But none of us wanted to see it. Obviously,
you don't want to see it.
I think he hid it. I don't think he told anybody. I think he kept it to
and it's
himself.
similar to Lemmy. Lemmy did the same thing.
Yeah.
No one knew Lemmy was on the way out. I think that Ozzy's done the same thing here. I think he may have taken inspiration from his old friend and gone, I'm not going to tell people when I'm on the way out. I'm just going to go out and then let it be known after the fact. And I think that the ability to go out on your own terms, if that's what's happened, I think that that's something that not many of us will get. And if you can take that, then I think any of us will take that, to be honest. But thank you so much for jumping in, Aaron. Good to see you. Matt Hughes, another new face. Music.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, there you go. It's a bunch of emotions, but that kind of sums it all up. And BP's gone here. Gentle Giant opened for Sabbath once. Two of my favorite bands. It didn't end well. Yeah, I don't know the story behind that one too. I remember inklings of it. Yeah, wow. This is the thing. Like there are so many fingerprints, footprints. That whole footprints in the sand thing. That's what Ozzy Osbourne is always going to be for everything here. Vinny here has gone quite literally. We got to witness and live through the diary of a madman. That is a very, very, very good way to put it there. And Michael has gone. David Bowie was another that didn't say he was sick before he died. That's true, actually. I'm okay with it, if that makes sense. It's okay to go out in your own terms. I think that we like to think of public figures as we have a piece of them, but we don't. I think that at the end of the day, we'll go to final words in a second, but at the end of the day, I think that if you get to choose, if you can choose as much as you can of your life, then you should take the chance to do so. Don't just do it always for others. It's okay to do things for you and for what you want for the people that are nearest to you as well. Aaron's gone. Page Number 9 was a good album. I've mentioned it a few times tonight. It is a very fucking good album.
Yeah.
Underrated album. I think Ordinary Man of the two newer ones is the better one, but Page Number 9 was fucking great. So nicely put there. All right, let's go to final words. Conrad, we'll start with you because your phone might die. So Conrad, final words before we wrap up tonight.
I guess don't take life for granted. Don't take things for granted. You know, makes you think about some things and you know what's important in life, and you know, go hug your loved ones and all that sort of stuff, and you know, and try not to take things for granted. The important things that matter.
Yes.
People that love you, the people around you that love you, and your parents and all that sort of stuff, because it can be gone so quickly. You know, it's all very fragile, and you can lose it so quickly. Yeah. So yeah, and go home and crank Ozzy Osbourne loudly.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
That would be.
That's it. Cool. All right, Jeff.
Yeah, just as like I said before, I'm just thankful that I was alive in the era of Ozzy Osbourne, and I got to witness firsthand, you know, through the music, obviously the amazing legacy that he was making. Not just that he left, but he was still alive. He was making it, and I lived in that era, like we all did, and I'm ever thankful for that. You know, I could have been born 100 years ago and have no idea of Ozzy. So I'm just thankful for that. So like for us, I think all of us, it goes without saying that us here and probably everyone watching and everyone that loves Ozzy, he was our Elvis. Okay. And to me, Elvis, the legacy that Elvis left behind is absolutely massive, and I think for me it's exactly the same with Ozzy. I think you can't understate the legacy that Ozzy has left behind. And so yeah, for me, gets you right there, but it does. I'm not ashamed to say that, you know, over the last 24 hours I've shed lots of tears, and so as Conrad goes off the rails on the crazy train. But yeah, so I love you, Ozzy. Yeah, I will always love him.
Yeah. For my, it's something that's been kicking away in the back of my head since the start of the show, is that this is yet another person that Keith Richards has somehow fucking outlived.
Yes, wow, I never thought of that, but you're right. Holy shit. Yeah,
just to put a funny moment in there.
So true though.
No, it's just fucking
wow.
What? Yeah, and Keith Richards is fucking stacking jet skis and still fucking, you know, like whatever. Just funny. For me personally, as a fan of music and have been since I said today at work, music, literature, and martial arts are the three things I was ever any good at, and music being first and foremost amongst that. And as a fan of music, as a lover of music, which is why we do what we do here at the show, and farewell to Conrad, obviously, he's just jumped out because his phone died. Thank you to Conrad, by the way, just for jumping in.
Yes,
and being
thank you, buddy. That was awesome.
That was really good. Yeah. I don't know when you'll see this, but thank you so much for jumping in tonight. It's been good to have your input. And good to see him again, to be honest. As a fan of music, as a fan of metal, as a fan of the arts, just the arts and what it means to humanity, the social commentary of it, and all that kind of stuff. Just thank you. Like I know the title of the show, like I said before, tonight is Thank You, Ozzy, but it's a long one. It's a stupid one. I don't know how this has gone. Hopefully people have enjoyed tonight's show. It's been a bit rambling and stupid, but you know, it is what we do normally anyway. But I couldn't be more thankful, like you said, Jeff, to be part or to be alive in this era, to have seen Bowie, to have seen Lemmy, to have seen Freddie, to have Ozzy, you know, to have these great icons, and Ozzy being the Godfather, the Puppet Master, the whole bloody lot. You know, the whole thing that all roads lead back to. And I'm so thankful to have been a part of this, a bit alive in this era, but also to be a fan and to be appreciative of everything he's done. I'm just thankful for everything he's done, for not only for me as a fan, but for everyone that loves music in general. I couldn't think of a better way to put it. Just thank you. It sounds so silly, but it's and so inane, but in the truest sense of the word, that's just what I'm thankful. So damn grateful, and I think that it's good to be reminded of things to be grateful for in life, especially in these days where things can be a bit harder. And I just think that it's important to be. I know everyone's mourning the loss, but I think we should never forget what we gained, and we wouldn't be mourning if we weren't given so much already. And
absolutely,
that's to me the gift that we were given through his dedication to his craft, if nothing else. Is remarkable.
Yeah, but it's a lasting legacy. It's never going away. It's always going to be there, and it's something that I'll always be grateful for.
Yeah,
and it's going to be hard to I've been listening to a little bit here and music and stuff like that, and Sabbath and Ozzy and stuff. It's still hard to just sit there and listen to it. I listened to Bark the Moon tonight, and I love that album, and it's hard to hear it. You sit there and you start thinking about it, and then you start thinking about the loss, and it's going to take a little while, I think, before we can listen to it and smile.
See, for me, it wasn't as hard in that context. I want to give a shout out to Belle and Dave, who aren't here tonight, obviously, but Dave in particular, who, when we were planning this episode and planning this week in general, he was devastated when this news came through, and just want to give an extra bit of love to Dave, who isn't here tonight, because it just wasn't ready, and that shows you the depth that some people go through when it comes to things like this hitting home. For me, I listened to a massive playlist today of Ozzy, Black Sabbath, and solo, and I was really pumped up, and actually I was actually still able to enjoy it. You know me, Jeff, I'm a very pragmatic person in general. The one that got me the most was, things where he's talking about ordinary man and changes and that kind of thing. When he's talking about his personal life, and not to harp on it, but being a grandparent myself now, you feel the weight of time and those things ticking by. I'm sure other people do as well, but for me personally, the last 12 months have been a real big shift for that whole changes thing. And relating in that respect has been, those were the moments that hit me in the feels more so. It wasn't the uppers, it was the introspective moments. Those are the ones that cut to me today listening to it. I just want to also say that I'm very, very thankful for what Ozzy has done, and what he's contributed to music has allowed us to build things like this community we have here. No matter how small or big, having a community, having a tribe is, for us, I think as a species, so fucking important, and that we have this platform, this time, this everything to be able to share it with other people like us that are hurting but also celebrating at the same time. It's a weird conflagration of emotion, if that makes sense. But to have this moment, to be able to experience it and to share this on different strengths, and I know it's not our normal show, and I don't know if people like it or not, it doesn't really matter, because we're getting to share our feelings, our thoughts, and the way that we're able to have a community. You think back to the 70s when this all started to where we are now in the 2020s, and the way technology and everything's shifted, but the one thing has remained the same, that's community and that sense of belonging somewhere. And that's what Ozzy, I think, is such a big part of, that I don't think will really be realized until further down the track. I think that's one thing that I'm forever grateful for, is that his impact on the arts and what that means to people, how it impacts people and the feelings, has allowed us to build communities, ours and others, around this one, which I think is so important, especially in this day and age. And I think that I'm always going to be grateful, not only for the music, but also for that impact on our day-to-day lives, which allows us to find people new and old in episodes like this one tonight, which is I'm thankful and grateful to be able to share this with people out there as well. And I'm hoping that everyone is enjoying this the way that I am, because I'm having a blast tonight, to be honest. Even though it's somber, it's fun at the same time.
It's a nice, yes, indeed, to be surrounded by friends that all feel the same way. That's important, because I've been the last couple of days, I've just been sort of obviously in a shit mood, and I've been feeling pretty, sorry for myself, and obviously, and but not really having anyone to share it with. So I was I really wanted to see you guys tonight, and I'm sad that Bell and Dave couldn't be here, but I understand why. And it's pretty tough. I get it. And so I was happy to see you and Conrad and
likewise,
and Chris. That was just and listen to everyone talking and leaving comments.
Even the comments,
sort of makes me feel like I'm not alone, I guess, and that's what we're all kind of, none of us want to feel alone.
Yeah. And we, I have thoughts, but we as a people, I think, crave that connection, and that's why I think that tribalism, that community is so important, and what Ozzy has given to all of us. That is, I think, the biggest impact for us as people. A final word to say, no, I'm going to get the final comments here, and then I'll go to the final word, and then we'll get out of here tonight. Vinny says, it's up to us to pass on our experiences of Ozzy to generations to come. The easiest job in the world for us rock fans, it is, and I'm looking forward to fucking tainting my granddaughter, mate. You have no idea. My daughter's going to hate me, but I'm going to fucking love it when I'm done. Vinny says, great point, Andrew. Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened. And I think that's, for me, from my point of view in life, I'm always happy that it happened, because then you don't have anything to mourn if you haven't had something to enjoy beforehand. Followed on with sending love and light to Dave also. Totally respect the decisions to take the time away to reflect on his moment in history. And that's, everyone's got to deal with this their own way, man. And that's where I've said to the people that would see the chat behind the scenes would know that this is just, I said it's going to impact everyone differently, and do your own thing this week and see how things move on. And we got something done tonight, and it was always going to be different anyway. I just didn't feel right doing a standard show this week. I just didn't think it worked.
No. So we'll put everything on hold until next week. We'll just move it.
That's it. Yeah. Vinny says, hopefully Snotty's on the mend as well. Love you, Belle. Yes, Belle is on the mend. She's getting better. But that's okay. Michael says, totally understand, Dave. Totally spun out still too. Yeah. And this is the thing. It's genuinely hit home for a lot of us here tonight. Belle could be a different reason. I'm not so sure about that. I think that this is, it's one of those things where we as a group have felt this week, unlike any other, because our connection behind the scenes is a bit different to what people outside probably understand it to be. But we all are pretty tight, and when one person feels hurt, we all kind of feel a bit of pain there as well. And when it's something like this, it hits home to a lot of people at the same time. It's a bit of a challenging moment to work our way through. But we muddle our way through as we do everything else. We wing it until we fucking either fail or succeed, and that's all we've ever done. It's all we'll ever continue to do, and hopefully everyone's enjoyed tonight's show. I have one final word here before we get out of here tonight. And that is that we haven't said it yet, but I do want to make a point of saying that I want to pass on from all of us at the show and everyone attached to us, our most deep and sincere condolences to those who actually knew and loved the man. It's important, I think, to remember that what he gave to us as fans is important, but I think what he gave to those in his personal life is much more important, and that legacy is far beyond anything that we could ever fathom. To be honest, I think that he was a husband, a father, a grandfather, and I think that those connections, those are the things that will live on far beyond what we're talking about now. Yes, Ozzy is an icon in history, but what he's meant to the people that actually knew him and loved him and that he loved in return, I don't think can be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I would like to think that for all of us, that'll be the same when any of us are gone, that the people we connected to the most in our personal day-to-day lives, they're the ones that will know and speak about us the most after we're gone. And so I just want to say a sincere condolences and genuine thoughts with those that knew him, loved him, be it his family, the people in bandmates, the people that actually connected with the person, not us as fans, but the people that actually knew him day to day, saw him at his best and his worst, unlike us. To those people, our condolences, our thoughts, and anything else we could send your way to make this burden easier to bear. Just want to say that to all of you out there, because I could never understand for what it means to us as fans. I can't imagine what it'd be like for you as family. And I think that shouldn't
what we're feeling, it'd be 100 times worse with them,
Yeah. So I just want to finish on that note there. We have a final comment here. We've got here. Oh, sorry here. Doomsday, good to see you. Ozzy may be gone, but his memory and my memories of being introduced to music by his work will never fade. Music is a medium like no other, which brings all types of people together, and that is nice. And that is, I think, pretty much the perfect way to wrap this up tonight. Thank you very much for that comment, Doomsday. I think it's one of those serendipitous moments that we can just wrap it up there. I don't think we can top that tonight. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Conrad for joining in. Thank you to Chris for jumping in tonight.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Thank you to all of you watching. Thank you to you, Jeff, for jumping in tonight.
Welcome.
And
it was my pleasure. Under the circumstances, it was still a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we will be back with the regular episode next week. Don't worry about that. We'll do another live stream, all that sort of stuff. And for those watching on TV stuff, the next TV 2-hour presentation, apart from this month, which will be happening tonight, and on Saturday is to do with 85. The next special is planned to be animals. I'm going to make the next 2-hour presentation to be actually around Ozzy Osbourne and his career. So we'll do that one and we'll tee it up and join our Discord and keep up to date with things there. But or Patreon, the free, just not the money, just the free stuff to get announcements there. Just that links are in the description, all the usual stuff. I think we're about done for the day, but follow us, keep up to date because we'll do the regular stuff. We'll do a TV presentation dedicated to Ozzy coming up in due course as well. We'll have something in mind for that. So I said again, Discord, Patreon, we've got something there coming up. Don't have to pay for this stuff. Just follow those pages.
Right.
Put a lot of other stuff in there because we don't do Facebook anymore. Just it's an easier way for us to post things that are relevant to what we do here. But yeah, like I was saying, a big thank you to everyone that jumped in the show. A big thank you to everyone watching tonight. I know it's not our normal show. A big thank you to the new faces. I'm glad that
join us again every week.
Yeah, we're here every week, but even if you don't ever tune in again, I'm glad that if you watched this one or listen to this one or whatever you do, I hope this one. It's a rambling episode. This was not structured at all. We went into this with no fucking plan. Okay, so we just did whatever the fuck came to mind. So I just wanted to say, this isn't our polished product. We're not polished anyway, to be honest. But this is just us sort of working our way through it and feeling our way out of it as as people, real people, tend to work it out as you go, and that's what tonight was all about for us. I think on that note, Michael has chimed in saying, thanks for doing the stream important to us all. And I think that's why we did this one tonight. I think we changed it up because I think Jeff put it best. It was important to honor and to acknowledge and do all those things, but it's important to, share this with the people that, around us, no matter how big or small, your community, the people around you. I think it's important to embrace those things and actually share how you're feeling and going through things as you do. I think the more we do that, the better off we all are. Anyway, I'm rambling. It's late. It's time to go. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Jeff and to Conrad and to Chris and everyone else around the scenes. Like just times like this, like Conrad said, make you appreciate what you have in your life and make you want to.
Yes, indeed.
You love the most. And again, I'm thankful more than mournful because without what we had to love, we wouldn't be feeling what we have in the loss. So it's one of those things that we will go through and we'll get through it and all those things. But next week we'll be back to normal. I know it sounds silly and pithy to do that, but it is going to be that way. Unfortunately, we just have to move on. But like I said, I'm rambling, waffling. Don't know what to do.
You're absolutely fine. Right?
I don't know how to wrap it up, but like I said, back to normal. We'll do it all again very, very soon. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Andrew. That's Jeff. You all know what to do. As always, folks, you know the cash cry. Drink up. Rock on. Thank you, Ozzy. One of one.
Thank you, Ozzy.
For everything.
We love you, man. Rock on, guys. Take care.
See you soon.